Say it with me, man. We are getting closer and closer and closer and closer to the start of the regular season. Welcome aboard. Big Sills here for you for the next 4 hours. And you know what? In honor of Joe Kraus behind the scenes, and I haven't done this in a while, Big Sills, how you doing, baby? Let's get this bad puppy running here. And we appreciate all super chats. Go to the top, okay? And please hit that like button. We appreciate you guys coming aboard, each and every single one of you. And I've got to start the program out by doing this. By the way, I'll tell you what, man, we are packed. Ian Eagle is going to be with us at 4:30. The preseason voice of the New York Jets. That's the last exhibition game of the year for the Philadelphia Eagles. Ian Eagle is also with the CBS Broadcast Network. He is their number 3 play-by-play man on the national broadcast, so we will talk with him. He's the preseason voice also of the New York Jets, so we will talk with our friend Ian Eagle. That will be at 4:30. Please hit that like button. Once again, thank you very much. You know, I'll tell you what, last night watching Monday Night Football, I've enjoyed it. I've enjoyed this preseason. There's been a lot of entertaining football games. I think there's a lot of teams out there that do not want to be limping into the football season, because I think many teams know that you could take advantage of teams like the Eagles who aren't ready to play in the first week of the season. Again, they look at health over readiness. We've all agreed to that. That's what they do. They look at, again, they want to be healthy. You can't argue with it. But now all of a sudden, we're hearing that there are a ton of Eagle injuries now at training camp. You can't legislate health. You can't. I think it's just the luck of the Irish. I really do. I don't think you can prep for it. I don't think you can practice for it. And let's not forget something at the end of the day. This is football. This is not tiddlywinks. This is fucking football. Let's go. This is football. You cannot legislate injuries. You've got to practice how you're going to play on Sundays. This is not ballroom dancing. I won't lie to you. Last night, I think many people are holding their collective breaths going, is that Jaden Daniels? Oh, is that Jaden Daniels, the best quarterback in the NFC East by far? And is that Joe Burrow, the best quarterback in the league by far? Are those guys actually playing? They are playing. Had to be holding your breath. Now, again, you got to remember something. Each situation's different. Why is Joe Burrow playing? Well, because Mike Brown's cheap. That's why. He's playing because he's cheap, because he won't pay his defense. So this guy's got to play the best player in the position in the NFL because he's cheap. They've got to get out to fast starts. Cincinnati's got to get out to a fast start. They can't rely on that shitty defense. And you got Trey Hendrickson sitting on the sidelines over there, and that actually accentuates the point. You got to play that guy. Okay? You got to play him because your defense is just not good. Okay? I mean, now you bring this back. All right? Bring this back here. There's a ton of Eagle injuries. Ton of them. Shit, the Eagles have played Jalen Hurts. And the joint practices are not real football. That's not real football. How many times has Vic Fangio told you that? That's not real football. If you don't tackle anybody, it's touch football. It's not real football. Those are not quality reps. And for the record, the passing game in 3 years, 2.5 years, has not been very good. And don't you think with all your injuries that you would want to at least get your new offensive coordinator and your quarterback? If anything, and if I'll concede to this, I'm not really worried about Hurts, and I'm not really worried about AJ, but I am Patulo. Who the fuck is that? You know what? He is as qualified to be the offensive. Name me one thing that Kevin Patulo is more qualified than what Brian Johnson was. You can't, and there isn't anything that can substantiate you to say that he is more qualified. It'd be a fucking stupid comment by all of you, but then again, I'll be expecting it. Kevin Patulo is no more qualified than what Brian Johnson was. Hey, seriously, he is no more qualified. All right? He's no more qualified. But yet, all of a sudden, he's the guy. He's so qualified. You're like, give me a break. They passed him over 3 fucking times. 3 times they passed him over. Steichen, Johnson, Moore, and now he gets the gig. Yeah, but he's more qualified and he's ready. Sure, okay. Yeah, whatever. Keep convincing yourselves of that. Until we see it, that's not true. Qualifications that he's qualified. You got to be fucking nuts. So, we'll see. We shall see. Should Hurts have played? Look, I get the health part of it. But hearing all the injuries, they're mounting everywhere for Philadelphia. They're mounting everywhere. I think you've been lucky. I don't think you've prepped for it. I think you've been lucky. What's the excuses now for being held out of practice? A.J. Brown hasn't practiced at all, and he's been injured the entire camp. I mean, what's your excuse there? Where? Okay? Where? Where? What's the excuse? Oh, and by the way, Andrew Makuba is made of toothpicks. That's your savior at safety? The fucking guy can't stay healthy. He's a schwimp. This guy, he's been out of practice multiple times. That's your safety that you guys were crowing over after the Browns game? And he can't get fucking through what? He can't get through practice. He can't even get through a preseason camp. That guy is a schwimp. He's a schwimp. He's been hurt the entire camp. A schwimp. That's your savior for Gardner Johnson? Really? Another injury to Andrew McSchwimp. Oh, my God. Andrew McSchwimp, who's starting at safety for the Eagles. Andrew McSchwimp. Is he hurt again? Yes. Has he missed time? Yes. Is he missing more time? Yes. Andrew McSchwimp. Yeah, that sounds like you got that safety figured out. Who plays at safety? Well, let me guess. Let's go with Sidney Brown, who can't tackle, and you got a Schwimp. That's the other guy. So you drafted a Schwimp. Andrew McSchwimp. Like something you get at McDonald's. Andrew McSchwimp. Holy shit. Dude, this guy spent more time in the tub than he has on the field. Hey, how about this? I mean, between him and Nakobe Dean, a lot of Schwimps out there, man. I'm getting hungry. Got any cocktail sauce? Get this. Hey. I mean, right? Andrew. Sills, doesn't this season feel like 23 again? Yeah. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. Andrew McSwimp. Guy's fucking hurt again. Walking into the fucking trainer's room. The guy's battling for a safety gig, and you guys were telling me that's our starting safety. No. There he goes. Bye. Holy shit, he can't even stay on the field. I mean, Andrew McSwimp with Chicken McNuggets. How are you doing? Holy shit. Seals, do you think this season feels like, I said 11 wins. I said you're going to be an 11-win football team this year. McSwimp. And we don't know who's playing in the secondary yet. No, but you guys have, get this. Bro, all the shit that I've been saying this offseason, man, do I feel fucking right on my screws again. You know, we wobbled a year ago, but we're back. Holy piss, man. There's nothing I've said that is not looking exactly what I told you was going to rear its head. I mean, there's nothing. I said, you don't have a safety to replace Gardner Johnson. I said, there's no way Keely Ringo wins that gig. Your team is not what you think it is, but you gave Howie the benefit. Okay. Hey, you win the Super Bowl, you get that. You get that. Okay, get this. Here's Twizois. You're right. The season hasn't even started yet. You got fucking guys in the injury tent already who haven't practiced, and you even haven't. Hey, bro, you're running out of days to prep for the upcoming season when you don't even know who's starting. So get this as of right now. You're going to have a rotating edge rusher. You're going to have a rotating safety, and you're going to have a rotating cornerback. Wow, that sounds like you really have a solidified fucking defense. Rotating positions at 3 to 4 different spots. Right on. How you doing? No, you filled them well. Hey, and get this. Milton Williams is having a sensational camp, and Booker's starting for the fucking Raiders, which is crazy. Holy shit. Hey, man, I mean, what happened? You guys were feeling all frosty when nothing was to be determined and trying to find positions for players to play on your defense. That defense looks like shit right now. Carter, Bond, Q, and Cooper, no doubt, really good ball players. You put them in a group with a bunch of shitty players, they won't be good either. It's a unit that wins Super Bowls. Ask the Cowboys or ask anybody who has good players but don't have good units. What was the thing that you guys had a year ago that was sensational? You had one first-team All-Pro. One. But you had the best defense in football. Was it because you had superstar players at every position? It was because you had really good football players at every position. You completely miss it. All right? Here, what's this? Bro, Sills, how are you going to say all of what you said is coming to fruition when we haven't even played a meaningful game? I'm going to say it one more time. How can you say what you said is coming to fruition when we haven't played a meaningful game? Correct? You haven't had a position solidified at many of the spots that you had to fill. And it's August 19th, and we haven't even seen them fucking play, and they don't even know who's playing yet. No doubt, Gabe. Thank you. Correct. You haven't even played a game, and they still fucking don't know who's playing. Gabe's making my point. Prove what? They haven't even proved who's going to be in the opening lineup yet. What are you talking about? August 19th, we don't know who's playing yet. Oh, do you know who's playing at safety? Corner? Do you know who your rotation edge guys are? Who's playing next to Bond? Has anybody said who's playing next to Bond? Okay, who's playing next to Bond? I haven't heard anybody say anything. Let me guess, Tyler. You have an inside source. I haven't heard that. Nobody said Trotter's won that job. Vic came out yesterday and said nobody's won that job. Vic doesn't know because Vic came out and said all open competition at numerous positions. Get this. Why do I care? Because I do a fucking talk show, dickhead. That's why I care. You got no answers. You're further from the answers than you are from figuring out whether or not you're even going to be decent. Holy cow. Get this. See this here? Safety a concern too besides Reed. You put a shitty player next to Reed? Hey, Flexen, how did Reed play with a dude that was lesser than CJ last time that happened in 23? Okay? And what's this one? Here's the go-to fucking stupid comment. Here's the go-to stupid comment of the fucking offseason. You were saying the same thing last year. This is a different fucking year. Did you not hear the Eagles saying that? This is a different year. Super Bowl is in the rearview mirror. Prince, front window, not back window. How you doing, kid? Front window, not back window. Even the players and coaches are saying that. New year, asshole. Try putting that and stop going to low-hanging fruit. Okay? I love Prince, though. I do. Got great takes. Get this. Look at this. Let me see here. Hold on. Where was this? Here, Tyler? This guy's got fucking L's all over his forehead. So I'm going to read this from now on. Carter Davis Smith. Smith, you're making Smith sound like he's Myles Garrett. Hunt, you're making him sound like Myles Garrett. You got 3 fucking dudes on that team that are fucking great players. Bond, Carter, Q, and Coop. The rest of them have a lot to prove on who they're going to be as football players. You got Jalix Hunt already as Brandon Graham. You're fucking nuts, Tyler. You've already crowned him like he's Brandon Graham. Nolan is good? Good. Okay. Let's see him put it together again. I mean, come on now, folks. Andrew Makuba is a shwimp. How he drafted another broken down player. It's fact. I mean, fucking every other week, this guy's in the medical tent. Every other week, he's in the medical tent. Hey, you got it going on, man. Okay. That's right. I don't block anybody. I let all you assholes in here. Okay? Look at this. What's this got to do with me? What the fuck do I have to do with positions being open and guys not performing so far to make critical decisions to line up against Dallas? What the fuck does that take right there, Prince, have anything to do with fucking, really? You're bound at some point, right? How about this, Prince? How about you making a fucking point? What's your point here? I'm talking about the Eagles. You're talking about me. I don't know what the fuck that has anything to do with the conversation that we've had this entire offseason. Make a point, Prince, or get the fuck off the pot. Make a point. Why are you getting so pressed? Pressed? Are you kidding me? Why am I getting pressed? Huss, you obviously still don't know me. Pressed? After 40 years, Crowley, you think I get fucking pressed? Doing sports talk? You're fucking so over the top dumb. It's beyond, I don't even know what to say. Words are lost. Are you drunk? You think you fucking press me? After 40 years of dealing with dicks like you? Are you crazy? I mean, Crowley, I like you in here. There's people now in a list in my room that have to pay for my attention. They'll never get it. Most people in life have to pay for my attention. You don't. Don't ruin it for you. Or I'll send your ass back to WIP or Easy Jazz 97.5. So don't go there. Let's stay on point. Okay? Right? Let's try to stay on point. Let me put this out there another way. No place in Philadelphia do you or have anybody ever had the access to me that many of you have. And I don't care what you think of that. I would never allow assholes to have conversations with me like this. Okay? I'm not better than you. My show is what I do. Okay? Let's see here. Sills take. Howie does great, but the roster stinks. No. Here's the tank, douchebag. Howie is an exceptional general manager who missed this year. So far. Can two things be true? Yes. Good night. Go sit down. Okay? Well, then go find him. Dude, this is not a military draft. You don't have to be here. Honestly, this is not a military draft. You do not have to show up here. Questions at corner, safety, and also virtual. Who's playing next to Bond? Here, let's do that. Okay? Let's do this. Let's see here. Let's go to depth chart. Here's my depth chart from Clint Hurt. By the way, guys, 99% of you guys in here are fantastic, and we can't thank you enough. There's 1%ers in here that, I don't really give a shit what they do or say. It really has, this is the nuisance sometimes. But that's okay, because now they're on the ignore list. Boom, boom, boom. I don't really care. They could sit here and talk about themselves. You know what? How about this, guys? You know what people, at least 1% do? They come in here to make themselves feel better about themselves, thinking that I care. It's crazy that anybody would think I care. Thank you, Sinbad. We love you too, bro. Thanks for being in here, man. All good. So let's take a look at this. Hey, do we agree? Do we agree that the offense is set? Right? Offense is set. Who are they going to put at that left guard? Let's see what I got in there. I got Landon injured. He's probably not going to play. So you're probably going to do what? Brett Tooth, whatever the fucking guy's name is, he'll be over there at that left guard spot. And Tyler Steen has won the job. Guys are saying good things about him. And so that's probably – the offense is set, right? Offense is set. So you don't have to worry about it. So let's go over to the defensive side. Moro Jomo, do we not agree, has probably had the best camp on defense of anybody? Do we agree? Okay, get this. Look at this dickhead. He's saying that the Eagles are stacked and they don't know who's playing the other linebacker position, a safety position, a corner, and rotating at their edges. But he says they're stacked. How are you stacked when you can't figure out who the fuck's playing in the secondary? What a dummy. Then again, have at it, bro. Clickbait? Here, get this. So let's do this. Arthur says this is clickbait. So I'll ask you folks if this is clickbait. Has Moro and Jomo, let's leave this up here. Clickbait. We're splitting hairs, is what he says. Okay? So let's go over Arthur's fucking absurd post here. Let's take a look at that. Would you not agree with me that Moro and Jomo's probably had the best camp of anybody, right? Get this. Look at this guy. Bro, it's Campbell or Bond. That means they don't know. Okay, thank you. Jesus Christ. How simple is that one? Thanks, I guess. Okay, Davis, Carter, Smith are set. Bond, who's playing the right inside linebacker? According to this dude, he's saying Trotter or Campbell. Okay? Trotter's slow as molasses. And Campbell still has to read the playbook. Okay? Doesn't sound like an upgrade from Dean to me. Let's go to the other one. Jalix Hunt. You guys got Jalix Hunt already in the Pro Bowl. Okay. We shall see. Q, no doubt. Reed, no doubt. Who's playing free safety? Who's playing free safety? So free safety, we have no answers. LB, we don't know yet. Don't know. Free safety, we don't know. Dude, free safety, not strong safety. Free safety. Sidney Brown can't tackle. Or they would have named him. No one at safety. Okay. Who's playing right corner? Makuba, he's fucking hurt. Who's playing right corner? Who's playing right corner? Probably Bennett. You mean the guy you just got a week ago? I thought you were deep, Arthur. Arthur, how could Bennett be a starter at corner when you just got through telling us that you're deep? How can that be? Bennett? Wait, let me get this right. You're deep, but you had to make a trade for a guy because you didn't have anybody on the bench because Arthur says you're fucking deep. Well, if you're deep, Arthur, why'd you make the trade? And Adoree Jackson, who was whacked by the Giants, and Jacorian Bennett is fucking the other guy you're talking about starting? How are you deep? Get this. Again, how is this about me? You're a troll that pushes narratives for shock value. I don't send this show out. People come to this show, Marshall. So when you say that I troll people, that's what people go on X and fucking make a comment. People come here for my comments. I'm not sure what you're talking about. He nailed it. Thank you for the super, Marshall. He comes here. I don't send anything out to anybody. You come here. How am I trolling anybody when you come here? Explain that one to me. Help me out here. How do I troll people? I don't ask anybody to come here. Our good friends do. How am I trolling people? Man, you know what? You're right. I don't really know what the word troll means. I don't have to do shock value. Giving an opinion and telling the truth is what I do. I don't know what you're talking about, Marshall. Do you actually think I go out looking for fucking people to watch my show? They come here. So I'm not sure what you're talking about. Oh, now get this. According to the Ho, Sills, it's different ways of trolling. Oh, okay. Interesting. I've never heard that. Now I've invented a new way of trolling. Okay. Yeah. What? My takes? My opinions? I've been doing this for fucking 40 years. I'm not sure what you're talking about, really. How hard are you on the Bucks on that show? I kicked the shit out of Jason Light for not being prepared in the injury of Tristan Wirfs. And I said, fire Kyle Trask. He's a bum. Teddy Bridgewater in 12 minutes showed you why he's a better backup than that piece of shit Kyle Trask from Florida. Is that good enough? Okay. I don't know. Bro, you don't like the fact that I'm direct. Nobody does. I mean, people that are direct, I don't know. That's all I know. I only know being direct. I don't like fuzzy reach arounds. I don't know what you're talking about. By the way, let's get off of me and get back to the subject at hand. It's August 19th, and you've got rotating pieces on your defense that you haven't figured out yet. Okay? Hold on. Well, I've been right 3 of the 4 years. Thank you very much. I know this and appreciate the super, by the way. Right in 21, 22, 23, 24. You got me. 25 already out of the gate. Like I am fucking hitting 1,000. Absolutely. Howie Roseman, in my opinion, I'll make it now. How I'm seeing this and where I'm heading right now, Howie cashed in the 25 season for 26 and 27. Okay? He cashed in this season for the 26 and 27 year. That's how I looked at it. Okay? 26 and 27. All right? I mean, that's my take. That he cashed it in. How about this? Let me ask you this. Do you think Howie Roseman cashed in the 2025 season? Yes or no? Yes or no? I'm going to write this date. August 19th. Okay, at 2:36 Eastern. Let's see. So Anthony Lear says no. Jessica says no. Oh, am I going to come back on this one? Who else? Who else says no? Did Howie Roseman cash the 2025 season in? Yes or no? Jeff Z, no? Okay. Let's see. Ryan, yes. Jason, no. Okay, Jason 18. I'm going to remind you all of this. I am going to put this in the wallet over here as well. Absolutely not, says M. Reyes. Okay, absolutely not. Okay, 2:37 Eastern. Okay. Well, so far you have. Look at the position battles. They're a joke. They're a joke. Okay? So Jeff says no. Okay. Jeff Ace. Put that there. Okay. Let's see there. Should have kept Slay. Oh, no. So I'm assuming yes. Okay. So about 50-50 in here that believe that Howie Roseman cashed in 2025. What's the biggest deal that he's made to make your team better that was external? What was the biggest move? Every year they've made some move. What's the biggest move they've made? Okay. So something that they were going to do anyway, and it didn't cost them a lot of money, Campbell. So the draft, okay? You're counting on players that have never played in the NFL to fill gaps with players who are on the number one ranked defense. Is that right? Okay. So you got the draft. RC3, the draft. Give me something else. And by the way, the draft, really. These guys have never played an NFL down in their life. And you're assuming that Campbell's going to be even starting the week of the Dallas game. How do you know this? Name me one thing. You got draft. What else? What else have you done? And by the way, the guy you drafted, McKee, he's a schwimp. He's a schwimp, injured again. Who told you that? Who said Campbell's starting? Campbell was not starting. Trotter's too slow. A.J. Dillon, guy who didn't play a year ago, okay? A.J. Dillon, a guy who was out the entire 2024 season with nerve damage, is your biggest external move outside of the draft. Okay, give me another one. Okay, give me one more. I didn't say I didn't like him. But that's a backup to Saquon. That's your biggest move Howie's made? Outside of the draft is A.J. Dillon. All right? I don't hate the player. Who? Uche. If there's such a big deal, Jessica, why is he on a one-year deal? And he's on a prove-it deal. The words, once again, Guy, how about the word external? Try hanging on that. Sills, the biggest offseason move they made was shredding money to sign young players on the long-term contracts. How he's playing the long game. So, Bob, they cashed in 2025 for 26 and 27, right? Is that correct? Bob, is that right? In your eyes, Bob, doesn't that sound like a kinder way of saying they're betting on the long game? Okay. I don't have a problem with that. But you have done nothing. And get this, the position battles. Many of you are right. They haven't even played a game yet, and they can't figure it out. And you can't figure it out. Here's my boy Prince. Prince, I don't know why, but I'm not worried about this team this season. I think we're going to have a great season. I stand by that. So you think Super Bowl win then, right, Prince? I've been here for 3 months, and now the Birds going for their third straight Super Bowl. How you doing? Or their third Super Bowl, excuse me. I don't think they cashed it in. Just made necessary moves. That's a friendly reach around. Chips will fall where they will. The core of the team is dog. The core of the team doesn't make a unit. You can have 3 of the best players on your football team. You can have a Trey Hendrickson on a shitty defense. You can have Max Crosby on a shitty Raider defense. If you don't have the unit, it won't matter. Are you not getting that, Wayne? Wayne, I think you do get that. You can have 3 or 4 really good. Hey, Wayne, I think you're overestimating how good you think some of these guys are. I think Cooper, Q, Bond, and Carter. The rest of them, I don't know. I don't know. And right now, Vic doesn't know. Makuba's hurt again. What's your take on that? What's your take on Makuba being hurt again? Let's see some of these idiot takes. What's your take on Makuba being hurt? I'll read them all. What's your take on it? Okay? Okay? Excellent and true. Crowley hated saying that. Hey, Crowley, I'm not saying the kid's not good. Okay? I'm not. None. You didn't win a Super Bowl because of your run game last year. You won the Super Bowl, Anthony, because your run game and your defense. Anthony, am I wrong when I say that? That's why I asked that question. Let me ask you, Anthony, this question here. So, you know what was crazy yesterday? The answer that I got. I asked you this. Would you trade AJ if you could have kept your defense intact? You know what you said? No. Well, if you don't have a top 5 defense with the 29th ranked passing offense and the number 2 ranked run offense, you ain't winning shit. Get this. My take is training camp is competitive and our defense is dominating our offense. That's what you saw in that Browns game? The same people that we've named losing to a guy who the Browns are going to cut? And Dylan Gabriel? Makuba played. Keely Ringo played. Sidney Brown played. Campbell played. Trotter played. Those are all guys fighting for starting jobs. And they were dominated. How are you saying you're dominating when you got fucking run over? I mean, dominating in training camp. Look at this guy again. Bro, 12 of the people that you're going to count on defense played in that game. He won't admit it. Did Makuba play in that game? Yes. He had flash plays. He got turned around like a top. Campbell had a nice sack. It was okay. I get those guys passes. Man. Dude, you'll never get an objective view from Emirates. Just, again, you'll never. Sills, I think Howie has put his draft success to the test. Nolan Smith, Hunt, Steen, Ajomo, and Trotter. By the way, Bob, Howie counted on a 7th-round draft choice in Ajomo. I mean, Ajomo is a gift. I'm not saying that they didn't get him. That's their call. They did it. But that's a gift. Okay? Okay, see, here again, Makuba had 2 turnovers and played okay. And this guy will try to convince you that he had a good game. Go put the tape on. It was a question I asked. Sills, who would you trade AJ for the help, the defense? Keep in mind that AJ is a vital asset to our offense. AJ would have to be somebody like a Max Crosby. Not even Trey Hendrickson. I'm not trading. And I would need something back so that I could maybe add another wideout like a Max Crosby, or I'll tell you what, like AJ for a great edge rusher. I mean, something in that conversation. I'm not giving that guy away for chicken shit and vittles. I mean, I would want something incredible that would help my defense be solidified. And again, if I'm going to be a run-dominant football team, I know, and that's what I said. And again, it's a conversation. Obviously they're not going to do it. But when you have wanted to keep that number 1 ranked defense intact, you shredded. Remember what I said when I said you blowtorched it? Now that's a great take. Patrick Surtain with the Denver Broncos, and you send AJ there. They need offensive weapons. They're in the AFC, and I get Surtain and put on the other side of Q in a zone defense. Yeah. But I would need something else back. Like that kid, Zach Allen. I mean, yeah. You might have to give me Zach Allen and Surtain for me to be able to do some shit like that. Get this. Leon says, fuck no, AJ stays. And your defense is horseshit. Okay. You won't win without the defense. I get the importance of AJ. You had the perfect chemistry a year ago. Picking where Coop will play is going to be a tough task for Vic. Slot, cornerback 2, and safety, no matter what, there's going to be 2 holes. That's right. Devin. That's why, Devin, do you think this is going to come down to this? I think it's going to be game by game and week to week assignments for Cooper DeJean. I don't think he's going to have a one set spot. I've tried telling you guys this, that I think, like, get this, in the Cowboy game, follow me here again. I'm not going to put him out wide. The Cowboys have a slot receiver that's dominant. Now, if I'm the Cowboys, I take CeeDee Lamb out of the slot, and I force the Eagles to have to line up with Q on CD. And then Pickens versus Keely Ringo. I'm going to win that if I'm Dallas. Keely Ringo can't cover nobodies from Cleveland. He's going to get annihilated versus Prescott in the Cowboy passing game. And you're going to have to create all kinds of pressure. So to me, Dallas, if they stay pat, then they keep Lamb, you play into the strength of the Eagles. Because then I keep Cooper in the middle of the field in the slot, and I play him at safety in base. And I could get away with having Keely Ringo out wide, especially in nickel, because I could cheat Cooper DeJean over. Okay? And that's how I would play it. The Kansas City is going to be different because that's Mahomes. Mahomes doesn't really have a receiver. Mahomes spreads the football out. Now, see, Smile Munden showed he can get off blocks and cover. He has. And Trotter showed he can read play action. Trotter gets killed in pass coverage. He's a liability, slow. He can't cover. He cannot cover, dude. What were you watching? Now, Munden can. I think Munden is a better ball player than Jeremiah Trotter Jr. I think he's a better ball player. He just doesn't have the reps and the knowledge of the defense that Trotter has. I think Smile Munden can play. I've been impressed with him. You know, you watch him too. He's got great hand placement. He slides his feet well. He gets up and down the line of scrimmage well. I mean, he takes on guards exceptionally well, and he's got great leverage when he does it. I like it. Yeah, I think he is a dark horse. The guy can play. You see it. You can see how he moves up and down the line of scrimmage. I like the kid. Trotter's slow. And if you don't have guys in front playing well, that guy's a liability in coverage. And Munden's a better athlete. That's right, RC. He's just a better athlete. He's a better athlete, gets off blocks better, and he can cover. Trotter can't cover. Okay? Trotter can't cover. Put the tape on. You don't need my opinion. Go fucking watch it for yourselves. I mean, the kid's good. He was good at Georgia. Watched him play at Georgia. He got off blocks well. He roamed the line of scrimmage well. That kid can play, man. There's something there with him. I mean, I think he's better. All right? Trotter's just slow. Okay? It's crazy how we went from no linebackers. Hey, Prince, hopefully we can experience the same at the cornerback room. Prince, why do you think that is, though? I think you know the answer. Prince, why do you think you went from nothing? Okay? How much more do you think that you sit here, Prince, and you go here, and why do you think that there's no question? That's right. Because that's Vic's experience. His experience is the linebacker position. And that's why that thing's improved overnight. And let's be candid. A free agent nobody wanted in Bond. Dean was garbage and was really good a year ago. Shocked the hell out of me. Bond came from nowhere. You look like you have something in Campbell. Munden's good. Trotter's not bad. By the way, I don't want anyone in here to sit there and think that I don't think Trotter's just not a starter. He's just not a starter. Okay? I mean, I think Christian Parker's really a good coach. I mean, I really think he's a really good coach. Look, it's okay to like Trotter. He's just not better than what they have in there. Not better than Dean. He's not better than Munden. He's not, again, the only thing that Trotter has over Munden is playing time or the lack thereof. I mean, if Trotter was so good, how come he didn't see the field a year ago when Trotter got hurt? He couldn't beat Oren Burks out. Dude, flexing. Trotter couldn't beat Burks out. I mean, if he's so, get this. You replaced people that were not better than the guys that were second team guys. Think about that for a minute. If Trotter does start, he's not better than Burks. And if you start Ringo, he wasn't better than Rodgers. he was a rookie? I don't know. You played Jalix Hunt. You played Q. You played Cooper. They were all rookies. They contributed. And Tyler, they couldn't beat Burks out. I didn't even tell you about the starter. I said he couldn't beat the backup out for playing time. I mean, you couldn't beat the backups out. Okay? We can't keep holding Dean to an all-time standard. He benefited from the guys around him and in front of him and has only had one established good year. Yeah, but that he showed he could play. He did. Vic's system made it better for him. Get this here. See this? I'm not going to comment on that. Well, then why are you here? He's not as good as those guys. I don't see him ever being all pro, but Trot could be. Yes. Okay? Yes. He could be a good football player. Stop it. Dean played it. Dean played his ass off when the Browns ran him over. This is why this guy has horrific takes. This guy's trying to tell you the Browns who ran them over with 3 and 4 team offensive linemen ran them over. And he says he played his ass off. They scored on 7 of 7 first drives of the game, and he played his ass off. How's that possible when he played his ass off when the Browns ran the ball at them at will? He played his ass off. Where did you see that? Ringo getting the same treatment as Dean. We called N'Kobe a trash can, but he got unlocked. I'm not giving up on the kid. So many casuals in the chat. I get it. You think Trot would get better if he got more reps? Yeah, I think he could get better. It could because it would help his anticipation. Absolutely. The more he can anticipate, the more he can cheat a little bit. That could cover some of that lack of speed that he has. Get this. That's not what I predicted. Again, RC3, try to stay on where I'm at. So, Sills, the Eagles have the 28th ranked offense or defense now? Who said that? I said between 12 and 15. Okay? Between 12 and 15. When did you hear me say 28th? Again, fake news. Offense needs to get off to a faster start. Gabe, how are you going to get off to a faster start when almost all your offensive football players have been injured? Especially one of your key. Get this. Let's ask this question. How important do you think A.J. Brown is to the offense's success this year? Let me. How important? How important do you think that A.J. Brown is to the offense and the success of your football team this year? How much to the success? A lot? Okay. How much success? Very important, Joey. Okay. Extremely. Okay. Prince, 100%. Prince. Do you think that there's anything to when people say they've got to get out to a fast start that the guy hasn't practiced the entire spring and fall camp? And that you're going to flip a switch come the first week and he's going to be ready. And you made a trade for a receiver who got first team reps today. You think there's anything to that? Do you? I cover great teams. I don't cover shitty teams. Okay? Of course you do. Why wouldn't you? You're still on the parade float. Let's see here. We need him to keep defenses honest. Without him, teams are stacking the box to lock up Barkley. AJ's extremely important. Okay. Well, Harrison, you think there's an issue that the coordinator and the quarterback and the most important person in your huddle outside of Hurts and Barkley hasn't performed on the fourth worst passing offense in pro football a year ago? Just a question. No? Actually, you haven't had a good passing game in 2.5 years. So his ability to block is as important as his ability to catch. He's a huge part. He can get on the field week 1 and can help the running game until he plays himself into shape. It's a good take. That's a great. I would do the same thing. Okay? Dudes in here was saying that Darius Cooper was AJ 2.0. So we don't really need AJ, right? Since we got him. Oh, I know. By the way, congratulations to Darius Cooper. It looks like he's going to make that football team. He took a lot of reps today with the ones. So it looks like he's going to be playing, Pump. And he's going to make that football team. That's pretty cool from where he came from. That tells you a lot about the Eagles, too. That means somebody, either Johnny Wilson or Aniyah Smith, are gone. Think about that. Someone's gone. Sills, do we have elite enough of a pass rush? You didn't have one last year. You didn't have an elite pass rush. You had elite edge setters. That's what you had. They were elite edge setters. Vic puts more of a premium on edge setting than he does with a premium on pass rushing. Now, you got good pressure, but I don't think that they're elite at all. Okay? You don't have to be elite to pass rushing. You proved that a year ago. Seals, our identity is running the ball. AJ on the field helps the defenses focus on. There's no doubt. Hey, Prince, I've said this numerous times. I don't know how he gets single covered in that slant. I mean, let me ask you guys this. Do you feel Barkley more or AJ more? If you were a defensive coordinator, take Hurts out of this. Who do you fear more? AJ? Or do you fear Barkley more? Saquon Barkley was the reason you won the Super Bowl. Okay? But AJ's the reason that Barkley had a great year. I mean, two things can be true here. AJ's essential on the AJ's without a doubt the most important person in that huddle. Because if he's not in there, hey, guys, did you get to the Super Bowl with Miles Sanders? Did you get to the Super Bowl with Miles Sanders? Were you like a couple plays away from winning that thing? So you were a couple plays away from winning that thing with Miles Sanders as your running back, right? You can't lose AJ. You can't. You can lose Barkley. Now, it'll be a massive climb uphill, but you could still get there. You've proven you have. You've proven you can get to a Super Bowl without. And get this. Is this a fair comment for you guys, for all of us to agree on this? You've proven you've gotten to a Super Bowl with AJ. Okay? You've proven it. Or I should say this, without Barkley, you've proven that. You have not proven you can get there without AJ. Two things are common in that Super Bowl run. AJ was on the field. And help me out here. Did he miss that playoff game against the Bucs? Did he miss that playoff game against Tampa Bay? Did he? So, I don't know. When he's on the field, your chances of getting to that game, they advance massively. Here's Eric. Eric, thank you for doing this. Guys, please hit the like button. Sills, for years, the Eagles' D was constructed outside in. Do you think Vic works inside? Yes, this is a freaking great take. I can already see this guy knows what he's talking about. This is an absolutely sensational take. Sills, for years, the Eagles' defense was constructed inside out. Do you believe that Vic works outside in? Do you believe that Vic works inside out? Yes, sir. Way. You must have played a little bit there, Eric. For years, we were so weak in the middle. This guy knows what he's doing here. And now it seems we're the strongest. Dead on nails, man. Sky Eric, yes, you're a go-to. That's fantastic. There's no question. Inside of your defensive football team, your two tackles, Bond, your two safeties. And why is that? Two high safety, dude. It starts, get this, it starts up front and the edge setters. The linebacker play has to be, you can't have a good defense if you don't have good linebacker play. Okay, and here's this. See this? This is where teams get into mistakes on draft day. You can't draft a wide receiver in the first round unless you have a sensational offensive line. The luxury of making a trade for A.J. Brown and drafting Devontae is because you have the best O-line in football. How many teams do you see draft wide receivers? Like, look at the Giants. Look at the Giants with Malik Neighbors. What's the point of drafting Malik Neighbors when your O-line is trash outside of the left tackle? What's the point? You've got a great wideout. You've got a rookie you drafted at quarterback, and you've got a 2-cent offensive line. Gets butts in the seats? How are you getting butts in the seats when you're on your back? See, this is correct by Kyle. The Bengals are constructed all over the place. So you spend money on T. Higgins and Jamar Chase and no money in your O-line and no money in your D-line. Where are you going? Where are you going? Nowhere. They're going to be in that perpetual 9-8 toilet bowl spin where you're going nowhere. You're going nowhere with that. You're gonna bullshit the fans on buying season tickets. Okay? And you're gonna kind of BS them that you have a good team when you really don't. And you're gonna be all over. I mean, that's why the Eagles can make, okay, look, that move for a wide receiver to the Texans this makes no sense. You're not in any issues at the number 3 guy. Dotson's had a pretty good camp. I mean, he's had a pretty good camp. You get another guy? Like I said, you're either making that move because you're trading A.J. Brown or he's hurt. Well, I'm going to land on he's hurt. Sills does say best passer's Burrow. So why not keep his 2 weapons? Make him happy? Okay. You're not going to win, but all right. Make him happy. Joe Burrow's got to be more in line with wanting to win instead of wanting to have his favorite toys. Brady never had favorite toys. And remember how they got Randy Moss. The Raiders made a trade for a 6th rounder and a DB from Syracuse. They thought Randy Moss was out of gas. That they didn't get. I mean, people were always under the assumption that the New England Patriots traded massive draft picks away. They traded, what was it? A cornerback from Syracuse and a draft pick to get Moss in the building. Wasn't like they gave up anybody. And the rest of those guys were just people they found, the Chris Hogans, the Wes Welkers, the Amendolas, the Edelmans. These guys were never going to be anybody anywhere else. Okay? I mean, right? No. By the way, Eduardo, Randy Moss is the 2nd best wide receiver in pro football history. He's the most talented wide receiver next to Megatron in the history of the sport. Both guys never won Super Bowls. Let me guess. A.J. Brown's better because he won a Super Bowl than Randy Moss and Megatron, right? Anybody who would ever think that doesn't understand watching really good football players. AJ's a really good player. Megatron and Randy Moss are different worlds. They're just different dudes. They're just different guys. Those guys are just special people. Like I said, God put his hand on certain people's shoulders, like Terrell Owens, Randy Moss, and Megatron, and left it there a little longer. And it doesn't matter what teams they were on. They were just great. Okay? Megatron was on a shitty organization, and Moss was gone earlier than when the Patriots became a dynasty. The Patriots had one. Remember, they didn't need Randy Moss to win a Super Bowl. They never did. They never needed him. Hey, Sills, either they're putting a lot of stock in Patulo or they are by passing this 25th season, or they really think Vic can repeat what he did. I get you think I think so too. I think they've cashed in the 25-year. Dude, you got rotating pieces at 3 different positions right now: linebacker, safety, and corner. And you're going to have a rotation potentially. By the way, don't get Nolan Smith or Jalix Hunt hurt, or you're going to be reduced to playing Uche and Ojulari. They're going to keep those 2 guys. I thought they'd only keep 1. Now they're going to keep 2. They got to keep both those guys, because after that, you don't have any depth there at edge. Who's after Aziz and after Joshua? Who's the depth after that? Patrick Johnson? That's your depth. Right? So as everyone said, imagine Randy Moss with Jerry Rice and having his work ethic. He'd be the undisputed GOAT. Here's the problem with Randy Moss, dude. When Jerry Rice didn't have the football thrown to him, he was a threat to block, and he played every down like he was getting the ball. When Moss wasn't targeted, he'd take plays off. So the DB knew to cheat and go over and help out the middle of the field or be able to cheat even more because Randy Moss did not really, the play wasn't coming his way. He'd take the play off. He would quit. That's what made Randy Moss not better than Jerry Rice. He was a me guy. I mean, right? Seals, fourth string guys don't need to be all pro after a championship. Fourth team guys is what you have battling right now for starting jobs. Our fourth team and third team guys from a year ago. Sidney Brown was third team. Keely Ringo was third team. Trotter was fourth team. What are you talking about? Those are the guys that are battling now for starting jobs. Guys that weren't even your backups. They're now, let me tell you this. The best safety that you had, you got rid of Slay, and the third best was Rodgers. The third best linebacker you had, you got rid of him. I agree. I think the depth of the football team, listen, this is the price of success that you guys are going through now. It is totally the price of success. Guys are going to get paid. Guys are going to move. Guys are going to get paid by other organizations. Howie is going to have to rely on his – dude, it's one thing to sit there and say that we're going to rely on our first and second round draft picks. But you got to rely on third, fourth, fifth, sixth, and tomorrow, Jomo, seventh round picks. Because you're not spending any money. 1 year Timu deals, as John McMullen said. Okay? I mean, these were, get this, Trotter was the fourth team linebacker last year. Let me see. You had Dean, you had Bond, you had Burks, and he was the third team. Trotter was third team. Brown, he was injured, so you got to be cool there with him. But Keely Ringo, it went Slay, Q. It went Slay, Q, Isaiah, and then it went Keely Ringo. Guy was third team. You're trying to fill positions with third team dudes at positions right now where they can't win jobs. Those are facts. I mean, and you're trying to plug in draft choices to be in the middle of the mix. And it sucks when Makuba, who's a schwimp, can't stay healthy. Eli Ricks too, I guess. Hey, by the way, at safety, it was Tristan McCullum. It was Gardner Johnson. It was Reed. And then it was Sidney. Yes. We need more depth, but that's a league-wide issue. Correct. Last season was exceptional. Your depth was out of hand. Fantastic last year. They were fantastic with depth. For the people that have Hurts in the elite category this year, it will be a test. He will have to elevate his game to make up for some of the deficiencies this year. Yeah, no doubt. Seals, does the depth pieces matter more in practice for when first team offense goes second team defense or vice versa? Abe, It's a great question. When you're servicing and the second team defense, that's where you get ready for your time when your time is called. And you got to remember something too, Abe. You're playing in multiple fronts. Okay, so the Eagles get a chance to see you in a 50 front, 34, 43 front, dime, nickel. They get to see you in multiple fronts because teams run multiple defenses. And so you're evaluated on how you play that technique. So when you service, like when the second team guys are playing against the Eagles and prepping, I heard Kevin Patulo say they're doing a small bit of prepping for the Dallas game already. And so when the second team guys, they're starting to show a little bit of Dallas's defense. And so you're getting evaluated with that too. Anytime there's a practice and they're taping, you're evaluated. How well your effort is, how well you're coached. Do you listen? Are you willing to do and sacrifice the things that it takes? All of that is part of how Vic sees you. You know what Vic does? Vic, it's the production line. If Vic sees you working hard and Vic sees you practicing hard, if Vic sees you listening and elevating and getting better, and like Clint Hurt comes to him or Bobby King goes to him and says, this guy's really showing up on film and he's really giving the offense and he's been a handful. Vic will take that into consideration and get him more reps. Dude, when you start to see, here's how you know people are getting somewhere with Vic Fangio. You ready? When you start to see more people getting reps, it's either two things. A guy's hurt or he's had a great practice. And Vic will look at that guy. And by the way, I think we've all come to the conclusion that Vic Fangio is now doing this, right? I don't give a shit who Howie brings in. I really don't care. All I care is how you practice, your practice habits, how you look on film. Are you coachable? And are you understanding the playbook and what we're asking? Or, listen, if you can read a Dallas Cowboy playbook, you can read a Philadelphia Eagle playbook. And I think actually having the versatility, Abe, on being thrown into different defenses, I think that shows Vic a lot of versatility. And I think that's how a player develops you. So, yes. Dude, don't ever, when you're in a hey, just like in you guys' jobs, when you show up to work and you got a boss that's demanding, you don't fucking take the day off. You got to work hard. You can't hide under your desk. See, like I tell people this all the time with our company. Our company's a boutique company. You can't hide under your desk. Odyssey, iHeart, places like that, you can hide under your desk. You can do that for 3 years and get away with it. You can't do that with us. One, people see through it. And secondly, it'll affect everything down the line. I mean, so yes, I think Vic Fangio looks at every single time you're on film. And listen, there's a key in having your own coaching staff and guys you trust like Bobby King. And I knew Bobby King in San Diego. Bobby King was recommended by Chuck Pagano to Vic Fangio through Nick. All the linebacker coach is a Chuck Pagano and a John Pagano recommendation. Remember what he said? I didn't know who Bobby King was. So what did they do? Nick put him in touch with John and Chuck Pagano. And those guys said Bobby King was with us in San Diego. And so Vic goes, what do you guys make of him? And he goes like this. He's a heck of a coach. And he's a great linebacker coach. And he's going to get the best. Bobby King's the guy to turn the Kobe Dean around. And believe me, can you imagine this? You're getting hired to coach linebackers in Vic Fangio's system. Well, you better be an exceptional linebacker coach. Do you not agree? Because he's going to find you and he's going to understand that you don't know what you're talking about. Am I right? Right? And so that's how that was recommended. By the way, I asked John Pagano. John Pagano's on the left. That's the former general manager of the Chargers. That's Tom Telesco. And I used to go out there and talk to Chuck. You know who the linebacker coach was? Bobby King. I've known Bobby King for 15 years. I mean, that's how those guys knew that. Right? Seals, if you had your choice, would you rather have the gold jacket or the Super Bowl championship? Keep up the awesome work. Salute. Salute. Thank you. It's a tough question. Ask yourself this. Do you want the Super Bowl ring or do you want to be one of the greatest players in the history of football? That's a tough question. Do you want to be considered one of the greatest players of all time? If you win a Super Bowl, that don't mean you're the greatest player of all time. Okay? That doesn't. So it's a tough question. Would you want to be the greatest, one of the greatest players to ever put up cleats and a helmet? Or do you want a Super Bowl ring? Right? I mean, winning a Super Bowl doesn't make you the greatest player in the game. It doesn't. It doesn't make Trent Dilfer one of the greatest. But when you win when you get a gold jacket, you're considered one of the greatest players ever to play. So I'll put this in context for you. Would you rather be the greatest player or one of the greatest players in football history? Or would you rather have a Super Bowl ring that's a team accomplishment? No, it doesn't. Megatron didn't win. He's a Hall of Famer. Randy Moss never won. He's a Hall of Famer. Those two are one of the greatest players, two of the greatest players of all time. They didn't need a ring to validate that. You think that a ring would have validated them? No, they're already validated by getting their gold jackets. You think if a punter gets a ring that makes him better than anybody else? Okay? Stop what Trent Dilfer shit? Trent Dilfer's got a Super Bowl. Okay. Nick Foles. He's got a Super Bowl MVP. Who the fuck is he? In the landscape of Hall of Famers, who the fuck is Nick Foles? Nobody. Stop with Trent Dilfer? Okay, I'll use Foles. We'll go to your home. He won an MVP. So? Don't make him one of the greatest players of all time. He won the MVP in the game. But hey, he's better. He's better than Warren Moon. Right? Look at Dan Marino, one of the greatest quarterbacks to play ever. He totally is. Never won a Super Bowl. Yes, he appeared in one, but no, you're right. I mean, dude, Super Bowl doesn't validate a career. It's a team accomplishment. Now, listen, having them and having it all is phenomenal. You hear Lane Johnson talking about wanting to be all-pro first team. He wanted to be all-pro first team. Seals, one league MVP or one Super Bowl. Super Bowl MVP or league MVP? Man, in that game where so many eyeballs are watching, I think the MVP is a big award because you're playing great for 7 weeks. But I can't lie. Being named the most valuable player in the most prized game in my sport, you got to go there. And I will definitely go there. Okay? And Super Bowl MVP, bro, I mean, there's only been coming up this year, 60 men that have quarterbacked in those games, right? 120. 2 quarterbacks, right? Right? A lot of rings in that Hall of Fame. I made a point to you, Pickin, that most of the guys that are in the Hall of Fame, I mean, Dan Marino, Warren Moon, Jim Kelly, those guys never won. Dan Fouts, some of the greatest players in the history of the sport, never won a ring. A lot of guys that have never won. At Super Bowl MVP, though, dog, I don't know. I think that's probably one of the most coveted awards you could possibly win. And somebody asked me before, the Heisman Trophy or the number 1 draft pick overall. Well, I'll take the number 1 overall draft pick versus taking a Heisman Trophy. You can keep the fucking Heisman. It's the most overrated award in American sports history, the Heisman Trophy. But I'll tell you what, if you win one of those, I mean, your history is set. You know what I mean? Hell no, regular season MVP is more impressive. I listen, I think you can land on both sides of that. I can. I think you can land on both sides. Yeah, Joe Thomas, man. I don't know if he ever had a winning season. Okay, right? Look at it, M. Reyes. Well, let's figure this out. How many Heisman Trophy winners have ever won a Super Bowl as a quarterback in pro football? Let's take a look at that. To go to M. Reyes' point. Let's see. Heisman. Winners that won Super Bowl. I can think of a few off the top of my head here. Okay. 2 quarterbacks. Staubach and Plunkett are the only guys to win a Super Bowl and win the Heisman Trophy. I mean, right? Those are the only quarterbacks. Devontae's not a quarterback, Abe. Charles Woodson's not a quarterback. There's 2 dudes that have won. How many Heisman Trophy winners have been number 1 overall picked? That's a good one. I don't know that. How many Heisman winners, the number 1 NFL draft pick? Um, 25 Heisman winners have been selected first overall. So there's been 25 of them since 1936 that have been drafted number 1 overall. Since 36 in the draft. So, yeah, not very many. when you think about it, 80 years. And to me, being drafted versus anything else, they're publicity stunts. Anyway, so let's get back to a question here. Okay? So Andrew Makuba's hurt again. Thoughts? This is the second time in 2 weeks. You need that guy. Right now, the Philadelphia Eagles have rotating pieces at safety, corner, linebacker until Dean gets back, I guess, between Trotter and Campbell, right? And your off-edge guy is going to be Ojulari and Uche, right? Those are going to be your rotation pieces with Jalix Hunt and Nolan Smith. I mean, you're replacing 1, 2, 3. You're replacing 3 dudes on defense with 6 players, right? Right? Wherever, get this, but here's what Senor's not telling you. Cooper DeJean has to play safety and corner all year long. Okay, wherever he goes, the other position will be weaker. Your nickel will be weaker. If they move him out of nickel and move. Now, look, if they put him in base, which is really only 160 plays. So if you put him in, if you put him back in the nickel, okay, who's the safety? Well, Cooper's injured. Hey, Ian Eagle from CBS Sports will join us at 4:30. He is the preseason voice of the New York Jets and one of the play-by-play announcers for the NFL on CBS. He'll join us at 4:30. We will talk to him because that's the Eagles' last matchup in the exhibition season will be against the New York Jets. Yeah, I get it. DeJean is only one player. We got 2 weaknesses, cornerback 2 and safety. By the way, too, Senor, who's going to be the rotating piece, you think? For like who's going to be Isaiah Rodgers this year? Who's that guy? Is that going to be Keeley? Who's going to be that guy? Mac McWilliams? So Ringo will be the swing guy? Who's going to be the swing guy? Who takes that role? Who's going to be him? Right? I'm a Tristan McCullum fan. You know, I think the less you hear about him, the more his value becomes stronger. I do. I don't hear any, and he gets reps. Okay? We might need to go to 3 linebackers with Bond. You want to play a 43? I listen, I think I don't mind the guy Smile Munden. I think that kid, the only reason that Trotter's a liability in pass coverage. He is. He's too slow. The kid Smile Munden can play. He just needs more reps. Okay? He can play. I think you're going to sleep on him. Like I said, too, Trotter was the problem that you're finding now with where you are on August 19th. Your 3rd and 4th team guys from a year ago are trying to win starting jobs. And then what you're doing is the depth level are going to be filled with team guys that were either drafted or free agents. That's where you are different than you were a year ago. I mean, Slay was on the team. Nobody knew who Isaiah Rodgers was. And hey, and for the record, you know what was one of the things that they said about Isaiah Rodgers at the beginning of the year? Remember what they said? Man, that guy can't crack an egg. Well, that's not the NFL today. They don't want big hitters back there. They want cover dudes. They want cover guys. All right. Again, Ian Eagle will join us. That'll be at 4:30. We will talk to the CBS, NFL on CBS, play-by-play man. He is the preseason host of the New York Jets, and we will talk with him. That'll be at 4:30. My boys had a rough one here, man. Big Z's had a rough one, boy. I'll tell you, man. He got a little bit of Big Sills today with that stupid-ass power stuff. Yeah. All good. I'll tell you what, man. Hardworking guy. I think they got a show right after us, too. They have a Birds 365. Without further ado, my friend, Big Z. Xander Krause joins us now.
What up, Big Sills? How you doing, brother?
How you feeling? How's it going, man? You all right?
I'm feeling good. I mean, look, I like to work, Big Sills, and today it was out of my control entirely. They were redoing like the entire electrical panel, so they basically shut off there's no air, there's nothing on. So I'm like, all right, well, I can't. There's not much I can do. No Wi-Fi, no internet, nothing. So I worked on my phone via apps and things of that nature, but good to be back on the show, Big Sills. I missed a lot of your open though.
Here, man, let me go here. Makuba's hurt again.
Yeah, I saw this. I'm actually writing about this right now. We're launching a new JAKIB site, and I'm going to get some articles. And one of the first articles I'm working on, just to kind of format the site, is on Makuba. How exciting of a player he's shown at times, but how this is becoming a real concern day by day on how much he's going to be able to stay on the field. I think he showed that, hey, look, if he can play, he's going to be able to. I think he's going to work well in the Fangio system. But you're only as good as your availability, and I think that's the big question with him. So we'll see what ends up happening with him, but definitely a concern. He goes down again, and I think it was a soft tissue. I think I heard red hamstring, holding the hamstring, tried to play through it, couldn't play through it. So I'm not really sure what to make of it, but definitely something to keep an eye on.
You think that takes him out of the mix for the opening day starting job?
Well, I think we got to wait and see. I mean, if he's back out there tomorrow, which I don't imagine he will be, but if he is, maybe it was a small tweak today, nothing crazy, and maybe he still is in the running. But look, even if he is, Sills, right? I mean, how many practices has he played where?
Yeah, no.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't know what to expect. Okay, great. If he makes it to week one, he's the starter. Great. Do we expect him to play through January? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's fair to expect of him so far. So we'll see what he can do. I think he's shown a lot of positive in the way he's played when he's on the field, but not ideal.
Does Sidney Brown win that job then by default?
Yeah. I mean, if Makuba gets hurt, yeah.
Man, so you got a guy who's always injured, or at least 2 of the last 3 weeks. You got a guy who's not really known for being a great tackler. I'll tell you what, that Gardner Johnson move does not look good right now. And I'll tell you this is before you even play a down. I mean, Jesus, dude. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next one.
Yeah, that's a problem, though. I mean, it's definitely something to monitor. There's no doubt about it.
Is this the monitor too? Are we still in the monitoring stages here with AJ Brown?
I am.
Okay, I get what he didn't practice.
By the way, look, I tried to get it out of John last night, but sometimes I really think the organization intervenes because when I talked to John on Sunday, all right, and again, I'm not throwing any shade at John here because I'll say it to him, but John has a way of answering questions. On Sunday we joined for a breaking news segment when they traded for John Metchie. And the first thing that John said, the very first thing he said wasn't Dotson, wasn't Darius Cook. The very first thing he said was, it made me question if the A.J. Brown thing is lingering worse than we're expecting. That was the first thing John said. Now, he also said, maybe it's not, but that's the first thing that popped in my head. And then last night he comes on the show and he's basically, acting like I'm crazy almost for asking him about whether he's fine. You don't need to worry about it. And I'm like, okay, look, I don't know. Did the organization call and say this isn't about AJ Brown? Nobody say it's about AJ Brown. I mean, that's what the organization does. I mean, people think they don't do that. Look at Siglor. They ain't telling John shit. Siglor, they send out messages to all the people that cover the team, dude. They really do. So I don't know. I'm just wondering if AJ is in danger. I don't know.
Well, your Bama boy took first team reps today.
Yeah. Well, there was a bunch of injuries, right? I saw Johnny Wilson went down.
Devontae's out too.
Devontae didn't play. AJ didn't practice. So, yeah, you had Metchie, you had Dotson, and you had Anais Smith.
I mean, Xander, let me get to this next topic now. So last night, I watched Jaden Daniels and Joe Burrow playing, trying to get some chemistry together. How are you working on a passing game when no one's available on a consistent basis? You're just assuming you're going to flip a switch on the first against the Cowboys? You're not even getting joint practices together.
Well, do you expect him to be rusty in the first 4 weeks?
Well, yeah.
Do you think they've altered their mindset to be okay with that?
Yes.
It's almost like they're like it's
almost rely on the run game so much in that first 4 weeks that they're not concerned with that.
It's almost like this first 4 games, man. They just it's everybody treats it as preseason now. It's like, okay, that's the warm up for the year.
It's funny you say that I think a lot of teams this offseason really have taken more of an emphasis on acting like they want to be ready for those first 4. I'll tell you this, outside of that Bears and Bills game, they've been pretty competitive. I've seen a lot of starters. I've seen Caleb Williams out there. I've seen Jaden Daniels out there. I've seen Joe Burrow. I've seen Patrick Mahomes.
You're right about
a lot of these players playing out there.
The Eagles aren't going to change on that, though. They're not. Look, you know what I mean? Now that they've had the success as well, there's no reason for them to change on it.
Well, guess what? And this is where I'm going to ask you then. Okay, well then, you're saying that they've had so much success. I think it's luck now because. Okay, well, they're injured all over the board. Lane's out, Devontae's out, AJ's injured. You got a bunch of guys now that you're not practicing. So,
yeah, but it's August 19th. I mean, nobody's missed a game yet.
I got it. But they take so much emphasis on joint practices and practicing to evaluate players and to evaluate tape. They haven't had these guys. How are you picking a football team if your guys aren't out there playing? Now, look, the offensive side of the ball is a pretty much given. Outside of the right guard.
Well, is it a given? I mean, they just traded for a wide receiver.
Right. All I'm asking you is, again, I'm going by do you believe that, again, the Eagles with the new coordinator and with all the misses, when it comes to practicing in the joint practice, you think they should have played Jalen a little?
Well, no, I don't, because I think what they're trying to avoid is the catastrophic stuff, and little lingering things are going to happen, I think, in the season. Again, we don't know which one of these is real, how real they are. I can't. If September 4th rolls around and AJ's out, I think, all right, we should probably start to question what's going on with the hamstring and if everything's all right. But until that point, I'm not going to worry about it. And then when you get into the offense, where I do agree, it's not how I would want to do it, but they're gonna have some growing pains in the early season. I think everybody. I think they're good with that. They've acknowledged that that's going to be a part of it. And look, it worked last year, so I'm not gonna. I can't get my panties in a bind about it. I'd rather stay healthy. But where you are right is, hey, look, is it unlucky because we got a lot more injuries this year? But nothing real yet.
No, just a lot.
Who's out for the year? Nobody's out for the year.
I'm not concerned about the offense so much. I'm concerned more about the defensive guys that haven't proven anything.
Yeah, well, that's fair.
When your guys,
conversation. I mean,
when your guys on offense miss time, like you said, AJ and Hurts or Devontae, I mean, come on, they've got equity.
Right.
Those other guys have no equity. Just because you were on the fucking roster a year ago, that doesn't give you equity that you're going to win a job. I mean, you got.
Did you hear Patulo talking about Metchie too? Sounds like he's making the team.
Did you see that they're overloaded? Hey, did you see that? Congratulations, Xander's got a big one. A dude from fucking Helen Keller University or like Slippery Rock University, Darius Cooper is going to make that fucking team.
Yeah, good. I told you he would.
He's going to make
He
that.
should make that team.
That means that Anaya Smith or Johnny Wilson, one of them guys are gone. Do you not agree?
I don't know. Didn't Johnny Wilson get hurt today?
Okay.
I'm just saying, what if Johnny Wilson goes to IR and they keep 6? Anaya Smith's your returner. You go
I'd put Darius Cooper back there and see if he can.
AJ Devontae, Jahan, Metchie, Darius Cooper, and Anaya Smith, and Johnny Wilson on the IR.
Okay. Hey, I mean, all right. Here's another one for you.
I don't know. I mean, look, I think Darius Cooper should be making the team, but I know that roster building is deeper than just a meritocracy. It is. So
you don't think they're going to put AJ on injured reserve?
Well, if he's still hurt, I mean, but don't you have to keep him out for 4 games?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, then no.
No. So. All right.
I mean, based on the way it's been told to us right now, we would expect no. If it comes out that he does go on injured reserve, I think that would be fair for everybody to say, all right, what the fuck?
Here's where the only segment that you can hear this in Philly. Those people lie to people, so I don't take them for anything.
Yeah, well, every team lies.
Okay. Hey, well, I cover the Eagles right now here, and I'm talking about those dudes. And to me, again, I don't trust anything out of Bob Lang's face. So I'm going to assume that guy is hurt more. Now, you're right, Xander. It'll be Big Sil shut the hell up if that guy's there and he gets 14 catches for 138 yards in the opener. No doubt. But if that guy starts the season and he's
IR is a little bit of a different level. I mean, I don't think he's going to IR. Maybe he misses week 1.
Okay. All right. So let me hold on. Hold on here.
Listen,
down here.
I'm not fully in disagreement from a sense where Prince thinks the guy is has one of the finest hamstrings in all of the land. It's like odd. Prince is like weird about AJ. I've never seen Prince act so weird. But yeah, I mean, look, the guy. I don't know what's going on. The guy has missed a lot of time with the hamstring. It's weird. And they traded for John Metchie on August 18th, Prince.
And he's getting first-team reps, and Kevin Patulo said today that they're overloading him and they're inundating him with the playbook, making him get up to speed. Gee, I wonder why. Why does he have to get up to speed? I thought he was the third wideout. Why would you get the third-team wide receiver up to speed? Unless you were in a hurry for something. Ask yourself something.
And Darius Cooper was running into one. He's not beating
Jahan Dotson out.
Well, there was a bunch of guys out. There's a bunch of guys out today. AJ, Devontae.
Yeah, wait a minute now. He's not beating Devontae and AJ out. Okay? And he's not beating Jahan Dotson. I've heard all camp Jahan Dotson and Jalen and their buddies, and they're all everywhere hanging out and they're drinking beers and having fun. Okay. I've never seen a 4th-team wide receiver have to get up to speed so fast. I wonder why. Or am I just being Big Sills?
You're just being Big Sills.
Okay. Do you find it odd that your 13, 14 guy, they've got to get up to speed?
Well, I mean, AJ can't practice evidently, and Devontae missed today.
But he's not going to play, I thought. The kid John Metchie. Who's he going to play over?
Metchie's going to play.
Over who?
I don't know. Could Dotson be getting traded?
No way. That's Jalen's boy.
Oh, no, it's not.
I thought he was. Wait a minute. Wait. I've been told by, quote, McLean and all the rest of these guys covering the Eagles that they've got a rapport like nobody's business. And that he's had a wonderful camp. Now he's being traded? All right. I guess.
What, do you think they're going to pay him?
No, but I didn't know he was having a bad camp. I guess I'm just being Big Sills.
Yeah, I think you're being a little bit of Big
Sills. Okay. All right. Hold on. Let me check that one.
I mean, I don't know exactly. You're trying to get me to fucking say something like I know. I don't know, and I'm not ready to make a proclamation like the Big Sills is.
I'm not saying nothing. I'm just asking questions here. All right. Here's another one. Who wins cornerback 2? I like these. I like these timely pauses.
I knew when I paused that you were going to lose it. I'm like, let me hold out. I don't fucking know, dude. Jacorian? I guess Jacorian Bennett.
So wait, question. If you're so loaded on defense, you had to go out of the building to fucking bring a guy in 5 days ago, and you're loaded on your
we're loaded.
Well, that's all the Eagle fans are telling me that Howie's been drafting and they're loaded everywhere. You went out of the building to get a guy who was on the 28th ranked pass defense a year ago.
I mean, look, Sills, not everybody's going to pan out. Keely Ringo didn't pan out.
Oh.
It doesn't even look like they're going to give him a chance. So they're trying to make some moves. Let's see if it works out. I mean, I'm not going to write Jacorian off just yet, and I'm not mad at him for making a move. I'd rather them make the move than not make a move.
No, you said that
let your ego, take over and you put Ringo on the field.
You said that 3 weeks ago. I don't want to fucking wait until the last second.
That's what I mean. So they made a move, and let's see what the guy can do. I mean, I don't think it's fair to judge Bennett yet. I mean, he played with Vegas for 2 years.
But by the way,
can anybody show up there? You know what I mean? I don't know.
No, as a matter of fact, you can make the same argument, Max Crosby, about all of his sacks that you can for Trey Hendrickson. Okay? Hey, that defense blew too. I mean, what's the difference? Why? Because he's a Raider?
Oh, by the way, the Commanders' depth last night looked like shit, like dog shit.
Okay. Well, we'll see.
Just saying, you were killing the Eagles about their depth, which I agreed with. But yeah, Commanders too.
Oh, I think it's a league issue.
Yeah,
some of the depth around.
Well, there's just not that many good players.
There's not. Look,
I was saying, what's crazy, man? I was thinking about this during the preseason game. What an incredible accomplishment for even the percentage of players that make it to the NFL from college. Like even that is just like, I don't even know what the percentage is. It's probably 3 to 5%. Less than 1% from college. And then think about the difference between the bottom of the roster, NFL guys who still had to go through crazy hoops to make it there, and then the first team guys. Like the superstars are really just head and shoulders above the best.
They're the 1%ers of the 1%ers.
They're the 1% of the 1% of the 1%, man.
That's right.
Really, yep.
And then the guys who make it to Canton are the 1%ers of all of that. Which
I know.
Dude, winning a game in this league is insane. Yeah. Okay? So we can't answer who wins that. Well, let's move on. Who wins the safety job?
Makuba.
Makuba.
Yeah, Makuba.
The guy in the blue tent.
You're setting me up today. This is a bum. My computer's off. I got no idea.
By the way, his computer gets knocked off. His fucking AC gets knocked off.
I got no idea what I'm coming into today, and this guy's bombarding me with all this bull. Every question is a setup. Every question is a setup. I mean, I gave you an answer, and the guy hit me with the blue tent. Today he was in the blue tent. The other day he was making picks. I think Makuba is going to be the guy at safety. If he gets hurt, it's going to be Sidney Brown. Done. We'll prevail.
All right. Hold on here. Let me get my phone. Would you call this guy? Justin Simmons, how you doing? This is Big Cells.
Nah.
What do you think? Justin Simmons?
I don't know. How fragile is he going to be?
Well, you're already coming with a negative attitude towards him, man.
Because I don't think he's the answer.
You're positive with Bennett.
I don't think he's the answer. I'd probably rather play Sidney Brown than him.
Or Tristan.
No, dude, not Tristan.
Okay, well, I'll tell you what.
You love Tristan. Why do you like Tristan so much?
Because he's steady. He's there.
He's not steady.
He is steady.
He's a liability.
Liability is a guy who can't tackle.
Oh, that's fair. Tristan's not the best either.
Well, look at what you have with Makuba and with Sidney. One can't tackle, one can't stay healthy.
If you tell me Tristan McCollum's our starting safety, I'm telling you we're not winning the Super Bowl.
Okay. Hang on here. Let me go here with you. So Sidney can't tackle. Makuba can't stay healthy. Tristan's out there. Who do you think Vic likes?
I don't know.
Nah.
You hear John wondering if Vic is lying to everybody about even the team, about the corners, because he wants them to play in preseason? John's like, there's no way after 17 practices Vic doesn't know who his starting corner is. But if he says that, then they're not going to play him in the preseason game.
Wow. Hey, wait a minute. I told all of you, do you think that they're starting to become a friction between Howie and with
I don't know. This is just
all
a
of you guys.
speculation. It's
This
just
is
speculation.
fucking gold. This is fucking Big Sil's gold.
It's just
here.
a speculation, Big Sil.
Speculation. Hold on. This is Big Sil's gold.
What is?
Do you think that? Okay. Do you think he's here? What did Kevin Patulo say that was obnoxious today? Oh yeah, here it is. Yeah, Howie will pick the roster, and we'll worry about the players that are going to make the team. He does a great job at getting players in here. Howie picks the fucking roster, not the coaches.
What do you mean? Every GM in the league picks the fucking roster, Sills.
Oh, no, not in fucking Baltimore, not in Pittsburgh.
And how many rings does Baltimore have in the last 8 years?
Okay, I'm just making a
All right,
point.
good. So shut the fuck up and keep watching and enjoy the show, Baltimore. I mean,
okay.
What?
So Howie supersedes anybody who makes that team.
Well, wait. Let me ask you.
He's not the best GM in football. The guy in
who's the guy? Which guy? Sirianni, Howie. Which one built 2 Super Bowl rosters in 6 years with 2 different quarterbacks, 2 different head coaches, 2 different defensive coordinators, 2 different everything? Which one built those rosters? Which one turned over from the highest paid quarterback in football to another regime and built up the entire roster?
No,
I want Howie to have say of the roster.
No problem then. I want everyone then to come around first circle and tell Big Sills you're sorry because Nick does not pick his team. Is that correct?
Nick never picked his team.
Okay. Nick doesn't have a choice on who makes the club or not, and the coordinators don't have a choice.
I think it's a collective conversation. I think Howie is the final say.
You just got through telling me there's a rumor going around that Vic has to bullshit.
No, I didn't say it's a rumor. I said it's a speculation by John that he thinks Vic knows who his corner is.
Okay. Okay. So let me ask you how you think Howie's done with the defense.
I still don't get your point. Yeah, Howie picks the roster. No shit.
Oh, you think Jim Harbaugh listens to a GM and how they pick a roster?
Jim Harbaugh can continue to be Jim Harbaugh and come up short. Our organization hasn't.
Okay. My point is that the coaches don't have a say in who their people are.
No, they do. They have a collective. They have a say. They don't have final say. You ever heard of a board meeting? So everybody can make their opinion. One guy's got the hammer. All right. Howie's got the hammer. If Vic can convince him to keep a certain player, he'll do it.
And that's why there's holes this year as of right now, August 19th, you're in a rotating role right now on 3 positions. And before you play a game.
Part of that is Howie. Part of that's also business. I mean, they're paying all these people on defense. You know, now, do I think it's fair to Vic? I don't. I said to you yesterday, it's crazy that this defense had such a big part, and they're the ones that got completely gutted. But that's part of it. I mean, look, we don't operate in a world where you can sign anybody and pay anybody if you got the money, where you got the checkbook. You know, there's a salary cap. There's a way to do things. There's an X amount of dollars that you're going to pay to certain positions when they perform, even if they're in the top 10. I mean, you got offensive linemen, you got defensive linemen, you got quarterback, wide receivers, tackles, center. Everybody's paid. So with that means you're going to have turnover somewhere. Okay. Howie's got the final say. I don't have a problem with that.
Okay, so Howie's looking, and you're right. So back to a preseason question I asked all who said, that's ridiculous. You believe then business, like you just said, gets in the way.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So more of an emphasis was put on 26 and 27 with him.
Well, I think by default.
Oh, okay.
By default, by way of where the roster is at this moment. You don't have the expendable money with the type of contracts coming up next year. So
right.
25, I don't think they looked at it and said, okay, 25's on the calendar. We're going to lay off. I think they said 25's on the calendar. That's the year where shit's about to change and we got to pay people, which means we can't expend all of our cash. Remember, one of the reasons they signed the contracts that they do with Jeffrey Lurie is because they send a lot of cash up front. They need a lot of cash in the month and they need a lot of cash in the till. So they didn't get rid of it. And now it's not an insurmountable thing, but yeah, it complicates 25 more. It makes 25's journey harder. It doesn't make it impossible or insurmountable.
Nobody said that, but you would agree then that it's a transitional year on the roster.
It's not a trend. Well, it's a transitional year from a sense of you
The
didn't
business is transitional.
well, you lost people and you didn't have the ability yet to replace them with high impact players. You replaced them with draft picks.
And free agents.
So
and 1 year free agents.
Right, 1 year free agents.
That's right. So to me, that sounds like transitional.
Well, remember though, you got to let it play out. I mean, last year the guy that we paid big money to didn't help us at all, and all the Timu signings from last year ended up making the biggest. Isaiah Rodgers, Zach Bond, Oren Burks. I mean, those are the guys who made the biggest impact on our team late in the year last year. Not Bryce Huff.
Yep.
So it doesn't all work out. You got to kind of let it play out. But it is fair to say, yeah, the Birds didn't have the money to spend this summer. They didn't. They're preparing for what we all know they're preparing for. And by the way, I think the biggest question of those contracts coming up is Nolan Smith. Did you hear Vic yesterday?
Yeah.
Can that guy stay healthy? I think he's
right.
going to be a great football player. But is he a guy you build your entire edge room around?
Hey, and what I didn't like was they moved a guy to the other side because Vic is concerned about his size.
No, he's concerned about the shoulder.
Yeah, well,
yeah.
His remember, he's always called him an undersized defensive end.
And he's got that shoulder. He's got the shoulder problem. He's had it since he got drafted.
Hey, and by the way, that means then on the other side, on your Sam linebacker, you're going to have Uche and potentially Ojulari being rotational pieces over there.
Look, the edge depth right now doesn't look great. Like, I will say this, we need one of those guys to step up big. I'm not saying they need to be like a Zach Bond level jump, but we need somebody that overperforms their expectation. Because, I mean, look, even Jalix Hunt, like, I want everybody in the chat to answer this as well. Because I know we all feel really good about that. I think even you feel good about that.
I do. I
think you like that play. But
I do.
What are honest expectations for a guy who was a third-round developmental player a year ago, is going into year 2, not year 3, not year 4, not second contract, year 2, and he's the number 2 edge rusher? Like, what is the realistic expectation for that player to be? If it's 11 sacks, Billy John, then we got a damn good player. You still need a third guy. So this is my point. Even if Jalix Hunt over delivers and is a great football player this year, you can't have a season with 2 edge rushers. You need at least 3. At least 3.
I think if that guy gives you 7.5 sacks and can set the edge for you,
that's all I want. Set the edge.
You stole something. Because look at the shitty coaching he's gotten his entire life until he got here. You still don't know what he is. There's no way you could sit here. Yeah, between 5.
I don't know. Like Lamar says, just contribute. And Lamar, I don't disagree, but I think that's more for Uche Ojulari.
Yeah.
Like, we need more than contribution from Jay. He's our starting guy. Like, we need a guy. We need him to really contribute. We need him to more than contribute. We need him to be an anchor, because last year, dude, Bryce Huff went to the chopping block. Brandon Graham got hurt, and we still had enough guys to run a 3-man front, and it worked.
That's right.
And Jalix was the third guy, but Jalix was good. Can Uche and Ojulari be what Jalix was late in the year? I don't know. I think so, but they're very different players, Uche and Ojulari. Sometimes Uche looks like he's good in terms of a speed rusher, but other times he looks like he gets lost quick, setting the edge, playing the run, some of those things. So you have 2 situational third. Maybe you combine Ojulari, Uche. Okay, Ojulari's better at some of the other things, Uche's, but they kind of have a redundant skill set. Neither of them are great at setting the edge. Ojulari stunk at setting edge in that preseason game. He was terrible at it.
Terrible. So
Uche's not the best at it because he's pretty undersized as well. So I don't know. I mean, look, I understand completely where John's coming from with the edge depth concerns. You're like, again, I feel great about Jalix Hunt. Dude, we need this guy to be like better than we want, because we don't have a lot of depth at that room.
Boy, so let me ask you this here with this too. So, I mean, bro, there's no question that that edge for him, you think Vic knows who the starters are right now? You think it's going to be Hunt and it's going to be Smith? You think that's who he lines up with Dallas?
I think those are going to be the starting two guys. I do. I think the bigger concern or question is, what does the rest of the rotation look like? Those guys aren't playing every snap. They're just not.
Does that kid Johnson make the team?
Remember, he's one of the guys that kind of got pushed at the end of last year, and then the Giants picked him up.
And they liked him.
I don't know. I think it would depend on what Obo, what Uche, and what Ojulari are doing. I mean, John said Obo he thinks is the best of the three, but because he's 30, you know what I mean? He might be the guy that's out the door. So I don't know. Look, it's going to be interesting to see what they do, but look, it is fair to be an Eagles fan and just say, hey, defense has question marks this year. All right, it does. We don't know. Hey, look, they could be great. They could pull it off again. And I'm sticking to my bold prediction that Vic will do it again. The players will perform again because the locker room, I believe, breeds success. But it's a big ask. It's a big ask. And it's fair for somebody to say that team lost a lot on defense. Can they do that again? It's pretty tough to do what we did last year. It really
they didn't just lose good players. They lost good role players.
Yeah, and look, I don't say that as a question on this team, Sills. I say it kind of with respect to what last year's team was. That was a special group, man.
Turned out to be something I didn't believe.
That's a group that we can't act like comes around all the time.
Bro,
they don't. It doesn't.
Can I tell you what the sorry-ass thing about that whole thing was? It was like it was so special for such a short period of time that you really didn't get a chance to really see what it could have done. You know what I mean, Xander? Like a defense like the 85 Bears, in my opinion, are overrated. You know why? They only won one.
Right.
I mean, you never got a chance to see, they put all, and I agree with Hugh Douglas. He's dead on. Defense is a luxury in today's NFL.
Certainly for the Eagles.
He's been saying that for a bit here.
Which is why I think it is very interesting to see what they're going to do, because all the contracts coming up are defensive. All of them. I mean, everybody you want to be paid on offense is paid. They're done and dusted.
That's why I think the Reed Blankenship contract.
I think that's the first domino.
I think that's why me thinking, I think they're going to move.
I mean, look, who's a guarantee?
I think they're going to move off of players that you think you're going to be shocked. Right. Some people they're going to move off.
Who's a guarantee? Jalen Carter is a 100% guarantee. There's a 0% chance he leaves the Eagles. He's one.
Not going in.
I would say this is further out, but I would say Quinyon Mitchell and Cooper DeJean are guaranteed as well. Now, I know they're only one-year players. They probably have to do a little bit more to get to that level. But
I'm comfortable with them.
I'm comfortable saying those two guys are going absolutely nowhere. Yeah. Who else?
Okay. Are you giving Moro Ojomo a contract if he guy turns out to give you 6 sacks?
Well, we just let Milton walk. Eventually, we're going to have to pay somebody. But we know Jalen's going to get, 36, 37 million?
Somewhere in there. Are you going to let Moro – I think he can be extended now here, right? At the end of this year, Moro Ojomo?
Ojomo, this will be year 3, yeah, so he'll be able to get extended.
Okay, so if this guy puts up 6.5 sacks, what are you going to do with him?
I mean, I think you probably try and sign. Remember, they tried to sign Milton to a bargain deal.
I got it.
They tried to sign Milton to around $15 million a year before the year, and he bet on himself and ended up at 28 or 27, whatever he got. So good on him. Maybe Morrow learns from that and doesn't want to sign the deal. I'm sure the Eagles will be in play for him, but they're not gonna pay him top of the market money. Top of the market money guys from the Eagles are. It's very obvious who those guys are.
It's Carter.
It's Carter. It's AJ Brown. It's Devontae Smith. It's Jalen Hurts, Saquon Barkley, Lane John. You gotta be a rare player to get top of the market from the Eagles. They're going to set the market and let everybody surpass them. I don't know if a guy like a Jomo is that. I don't think so. I don't know if. I think probably the toughest player right now for me to guess whether they'll keep him is Nolan.
Nolan.
Right? Like I'd like to everybody in the chat. $30 million a year for Nolan Smith. And before you say that sounds crazy, that's probably what it's going to be. 25 to 30.
I think you're onto something with Vic kind of throwing that out there about he didn't have to tell anybody. Get this. Why would Vic tell you that fucking Nolan Smith was injured when Nick Sirianni never brings up injured players and injured comments? That was so over the top Dude, anytime Nick's asked a question about injuries on a player, he goes, I'm not getting into injuries with a player. Vic offered that up.
I know.
Dude,
I don't think
good.
Vic is coming for Nolan though. I just wonder if I don't know. Look, I like Nolan Smith a lot. I love the mentality of the player. I think he had a great year last year. I think he showed a lot of flashes, but $30 million to be the guy in the room. You know, I can't say I feel too great about that.
How about this? You made a comment that John made. How about this guy? You think Vic knows he doesn't have the players this year that he didn't have a year?
Yeah, I think he showed that a little bit. I think he has. I think many people will not be willing to open their eyes to see that. But Vic has made several comments through camp that you can tell he knows this is going to be a lot harder than last year.
A lot harder of a climb.
Defensively.
Yes. So you're counting on Bond to have the same type of year a year ago that he had, right?
No, he has no choice. I mean, he has to. You have to perform at that level. Dude, think about all the guys we lost. If you're telling me that the guys that we brought back now are not going to be able to do what they did or play at a comparable level,
you're in trouble.
Then we're in trouble. We're in real trouble. I mean, basically, so my whole premise when I've come on this show with you and pushed back on you saying you lost too many guys has been that the guys we kept are the core guys and they will keep the unit intact. If you're telling me Bond goes back, if you're telling me Carter isn't drawing double teams, if you're telling me Nolan's not developing as an edge, if you're telling me Quinyon and Cooper aren't as good on the outsides in the secondary, we don't have a chance. So Cooper, Quinyon, Reed, Bond, Carter, Davis, Nolan, that we have those are the guys that you don't have a choice, man. It's perform. And I think they're all gonna. I feel pretty good about all of them performing. I think probably the biggest concern there would be J-Looks, as we talked about, just because it's really unknown still. And Nolan from a health perspective. I'm a little worried about his health remember last year, Sills, he only really had a big role in 9 games, not a full year. So that's probably my biggest question there.
How about this one? I have a question mark too.
Hey, you do.
Hey, I have one.
Sills has a question mark, everybody.
What would be your biggest question mark on Quinyon Mitchell?
On Quinyon? I got to be honest, man. I don't have any questions on Q.
Okay.
I think maybe it'd be fair to say, how would he fare in a man-to-man set? If he was needed to be man-to-man, if he is traveling, what does he look like in that as opposed to last year where he dominated with the zone? I think that's the only fair thing.
That's where I'm going. Okay. You're asking him now to go and travel. Does that help him or does that hurt him?
I think he's good, dude. I really do.
Okay, well, we haven't seen him in that role yet.
We haven't seen him in the role, but I think that guy's got every
with players around him that were not on the team. Wait, now, he may be. But here's the question. If you have an off linebacker who's not getting it done, you're rotating at the edge, and one guy, they're not setting it. You got a corner who's not getting the job done, and you got a safety who was being mediocre back there. How does that affect him in traveling when you got more space to cover?
Well, I think it affects the overall defense, but if you do put him in a position to travel, I mean, I think he becomes a little more isolated, doesn't he? You know what I mean? Like, in other words, if he's traveling, all right, and he's blanketing and taking away one guy, all right, and you're getting burnt everywhere else, it's not a Quinyon problem. Now, the defense might overall struggle.
Oh, I don't think it will be a Quinyon problem. I think it will be a unit problem.
Quinyon Mitchell right now is one of the players I'm most confident in coming into the year. I don't know. It's the way he's handled camp. It's his approach. It's his listening to him on the mic'd up, watching the way he plays. I mean, I love his confidence, but it's not empty confidence. He said something. AJ made a comment. It's our job to help these corners develop, basically make it hard for them in practice. Quinyon said, it's my job to make you a better receiver because I'm going to make your life miserable. Like that mentality is what you need. And then you couple that with the skill set he showed. I think that again, I've been objective to this segment where there's some concern. I have zero concern on Quinyon Mitchell. Everywhere else, maybe.
Iron Eagle will join us at 4:30 at the bottom of the hour. We're going to get to the super chats here in a minute here. So, hey, do me a favor, man. I got to tell you something about this John Metchie kid. I talked to people in Houston and I talked to people in at Alabama. Dude, this guy's got fucking amazing respect by people. And Devontae called him immediately as soon as he found out the trade. Who is he, Xander? I mean, he's a Bama kid. I mean,
he's a Bama kid. He's a great player, dude. Dude, listen to this. His first year he became a real part of the Alabama offense was the 2020 year that Devontae Smith won the Heisman Trophy. Now, remember, Devontae had a good start to the year, but his Heisman campaign took off when Jalen Waddle went down.
When Waddle went hurt. Yeah, he got hurt.
Devontae Smith took off. He had, I forget however many total yards he had. Was it over? I don't know. It was close to 2K, probably somewhere.
Incredible.
Crazy numbers. Maybe 1,600, maybe some. I don't know. I have to
Did Waddle get hurt in that Tennessee game?
Waddle got hurt. I don't remember which game it was. It was early, though.
An SEC game early.
September, October. It was early.
Like that.
So that's when Metchie stepped up. Now, Devontae goes on to win the Heisman that year. Well, Metchie, who wasn't really expected to play yet, had 960 yards, second to Devontae Smith on that team.
Wow.
That's his first year, in the system. That was with Mac Jones at quarterback.
That's stepping in.
Right. Next year, he becomes the guy and has 12 or 1,300 yards with Bryce Young, who went on to win the Heisman Trophy as well. He's a really special player. Now, I think I said this the other day. I think sometimes, and everybody, I think to some extent in football becomes a victim of this because we follow one team. We focus on the Eagles more than other teams. This is how you and I make money. This is the team that we cover, and sometimes we'll look at players at the stats and say, 29 games, 400 yards. I believe this is really a player that the circumstance with the leukemia. Remember, he tore his ACL at the end of the year in the SEC championship game before he went to college. That's why he fell to the second round. Couple that with the leukemia. It was almost like a year and a half fully out of football. And that's when the Texans kind of revamped their roster, drafted CJ Stroud, and started going a different route. He then became a non-impact player for them.
Ryans loves him.
So I'm just saying, I think he has a chance to resurrect his career here in Philly and have it be a lot more productive than he's been there. But he's got to get on the field, and I don't know what that looks like. I think it was a great trade. They were about to cut Harrison Bryant. I mean, he picked up John Metchie. Good trade, just from that perspective.
I like the kid, man. I liked him at the podium today, too. Let's get to these.
He's got a good head on his shoulder, no doubt.
I liked him.
I think he was born in Ghana. Then he moved to Canada for high school. And then he came to the States for college. I believe that's what he did. I know he was moving. I know he was in Canada.
He played high school ball in Canada?
Huh?
He played high school ball in Canada?
I'm pretty sure he played high school ball in Canada. Yep.
Wow. I thought because most of those receivers are them either like a big time program in the state of
right. They'll come here.
IMG guy.
So he went to let me look. I just like to look it up real quick so we get it right.
I thought he was an IMG guy.
No, I don't think he was IMG.
Okay.
Early life. So he was born in Taiwan to a Nigerian father, a Taiwanese mother. Moved to Ghana. I was going to say, I thought I knew Ghana. And then he moved to Ontario, Canada with his mom and 4 brothers. Then he moved to the United States to attend St. James School in Hagerstown. Okay, so high school, I think.
Okay, he went and played in Maryland.
Yeah. Okay. And then he went to Petty School in Hightstown, New Jersey, and then he committed to okay, so he was over here a little earlier. A little earlier than I thought. Maryland and then New Jersey, where he went to
Got it. That's a pretty good program there in Hagerstown.
Okay. And then,
really great program up there. Yeah, absolutely.
Big Marsh says, here we go, Sills with the Quinyon narrative. Jesus, this guy doesn't stop.
No, you're asking him to do a new role on a team that has holes around him, not his game. Once again, Marshall, you're not fucking focused on what we're saying as a unit. You're looking at the player. I have no questions on Quinyon. I have questions on the unit. What?
You think Quinyon will thrive in that role?
he'll thrive in that role if people around him can be functional and do their jobs. Because if he has to be more in space, that creates opportunities for those first four quarterbacks to not attack only him, but to attack the weak holes. You brought it up in that Super Bowl, Xander, when you said when Drake Greenlaw got injured and they put Burks in, what's his name? Mahomes found it and got the team back. You're going to find holes in defenses. Okay.
Michael Robinson checks in. He says, we need to pipe down on the Howie glaze. 4 of his 5 Georgia players have shit the bed, and now his ego rubbing Vic the wrong way. He let Gardner Johnson go for good reason twice. Get it together, Howie. And Michael, I think some of that's fair, but the results are more important to me. All right. And this team has been very successful. So I don't really agree.
There is a lot of injured Georgia guys.
The Georgia guys have proven maybe to not be as dominant as we thought they could become. Yes. But I look, I mean, they were a big part in this team winning a Super Bowl, so I don't really think you can hold it against them. Brian says, Big Z, I got my shirts today. Thank you. Sorry for being an a-hole, even though I appreciate those on the show last night. Fleming, all good, brother. Happy you got the shirts. Thank you for your membership. Jeff Bone says, you think Trot would get better if he got more reps?
He's a young player. I think he's slow. I think, again, that when you have a player that runs a 4.8, he's dropping in coverage and a too high safety. When you see a guy like Trotter, he's got to be functionally, technically sound. Okay. More reps. Yes. Younger players, more reps. Obviously, the better you're going to get. But I think he's limited with his athletic ability and his look. Everyone sees the name Trotter. They think Trotter's senior.
Well, I think in comparison to a guy like Jahad Campbell, who's obviously notorious for the uber athleticism, the length, the speed, the strength, I don't think Campbell or Trotter has that type of upside, but I do think he's a very sound player. I think he's proven to be honestly ahead of schedule for a 5th-round pick.
Bro, I like that Smile Munden kid.
Me too, man. He's looked good. He looked real good in that preseason game. All right, so it's good stuff, man. I'll catch you tomorrow, right, brother?
Absolutely. Birds 365 right after the program, correct?
6 to 8 p.m. We'll be live on the channel.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. John McMullen will be out there, obviously, too, with the practice today over at NovaCare Center. So we'll have you fully covered there with the Eagles now. So Eagles and Jets this weekend. The New York Jets, when you look at their roster, okay, I look at them kind of in the same light as the Minnesota Vikings. I look at them like they've got a roster and players at particular positions where you see stars. I don't know who J.J. McCarthy is. Is this going to be – remember something here. What did Boomer Esiason and what did Phil Simms say about Justin Fields going to New York? Phil Simms thinks that Justin Fields is going to have a breakout season this year in New York with Aaron Glenn. All right? So without further ado, the man who is the preseason voice, I saw him covering the game this past weekend, and I'm like, I know Ian. So why not get Ian Eagle on here with us here? And I even talked to Anthony Beck, and Anthony goes, great dude. I go, no, I know Ian. So I go, let's get him on. He's CBS also, and we've known him for a while now, and he's part of the broadcast team for CBS National and the preseason games, as we said. Let's get Ian Eagle on with us now here. How you doing, man? I appreciate you joining the program, brother. How you doing?
Great to be with you, Dan. You know me, you text me, and then it happens.
I know
it's magical.
I'll be there. And I told Sean McManus, who's now, believe it or not, in retirement.
Yeah.
And I'm going like, are you playing golf there at Winged Foot again? He goes, well, I haven't hit the Winged Foot yet, bud. I went to high school at Stanford Catholic, and his dad, Jim McKee.
Yeah.
Get this, used to come to my games.
Amazing.
And I knew because he went to Fairfield Prep and I went to Catholic High. So we've known one another. And I go, all your guys were some of the greatest people and easiest guys to get along with. And I text Ian and I go, hey, I get him on. He goes, you text me, I'll be there. And here we go. Hey, man, I appreciate you doing this.
You got it. My pleasure, Dan. Great to be with you.
The Jets preseason, have you seen improvement so far in the team?
Well, what I've seen was a whole different vibe at training camp. I'll say that. Robert Saleh, very good guy. I think Saleh was a player's coach and would never throw his guys under the bus. And initially, Jets fans thought, okay, I like this connection. I like where Saleh came from, San Francisco. The problem was it never translated consistently on the field. And then, as you know, Dan, you've been around this so long, if it's not working, then fans will turn and say, no, we need a taskmaster. We need someone that's going to get pissed off. We need someone that's going to get in the players' faces. And that was not happening over the stretch of the back end of his tenure. And now with Aaron Glenn, this guy is just a different kind of dude. You're 5'8", you make 3 Pro Bowls at the cornerback position in the NFL. That means you're pretty tough. And it means you also have a very strong sense of self. And that's what I've noticed more than anything else. So the games themselves, Green Bay, they actually played very well. And they had their first team offense go out there initially. They score a touchdown opening drive, pull the plug. That's it. Got everything they needed out of it. And then the backups did a nice job. And it was all 3 phases. Second game against the Giants, just not the case. It was a 7-6 game at halftime. It got away from them in the third quarter. They didn't look great defensively. But, Dan, we know how this works. You form very strong opinions based on preseason games that don't matter. They're never remembered. It's vanilla completely. Nobody's running anything. Nobody's showing their hand. But it's football. So people are just excited to see it, and they do have very visceral reactions based on what they see.
Is this more about a culture in the building where, because you just mentioned to me again, because we cover the Eagles, and I'll tell you what, when you're in the spotlight and you win all the time and you're in those big games, it becomes contagious, just like losing becomes contagious. And is it more about, again, bringing a vibe into that building where you have to have a belief that you guys are going to be competitive and you guys are going to win football games? Because it sounds like to me, what you're telling me is they don't believe yet. I mean, so that's up to the head coach right now. They'll have to instill that in this roster. Do you agree?
Yeah, I think if you interviewed every player, the belief would be that this team is going to be better. It's going to be more disciplined. There is going to be accountability. All of that's real. That's just not talk. That's something that you can feel and sense from our chats with the players. We're fortunate we get to sit down one-on-one. You get to look someone in the eye and you get a feel for what they're all about. So that included Sauce Gardner. That included Garrett Wilson. That included Justin Fields, Jamie Sherwood. We're getting a feel. Andre Sisco. There's a lot of pride. But look, we know until you do it, nobody really believes. And I think this collective group, if you look at their roster, there are definitely some strong parts. And in many ways, I think they'll probably use the Philadelphia model, which a lot of teams will use, as what they want to eventually become. They're not going to be pass heavy. They're going to be a run heavy offense. They believe they're good enough defensively to come up with turnovers, turn those turnovers into points, slam game shut on a big play by your defense, by your secondary, and then run the ball, have a quarterback that's got enough command to throw when he has to. The comparison ends a bit because Hurts spins it better than Fields, and Fields just has not sustained it over time. I saw flashes last year with Pittsburgh. I had a lot of Steeler games, Dan. And I saw them before they made the move to Russell Wilson and obviously after. And there was a confidence with the Steelers when Fields was in there that they could win games, that they would find ways. They weren't blowing teams' doors off, but they were setting an identity offensively with a physical style, and the fact that Fields is a wild card every time he touches the ball. He can make something happen. But with the big but, you're going to have to throw at some point. And what Philadelphia has proven, when they have to, they can, and they can be really successful. I think that's the part where the Jets are just not in the same area code right now.
How about this? I also do a radio show in Tampa, and I've been floored by the resurrection, I guess, of Baker Mayfield.
Yeah.
I can't believe that guy went from that to when he became a journey guy. He stopped. And all of a sudden now we're talking about potentially a $55 million deal. Are you looking at now with Justin Fields, because we've seen reclamation projects now And we've seen it. Look at Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold was a journeyman too. All of a sudden, he goes to Minnesota and he wins 14 games a year ago. Is there a vibe like that in New York with Justin Fields that, hey, listen, maybe we don't have to throw the ball a ton. Maybe we build around that running game. Maybe we do all those things, and we kind of build a team around his deficiencies. Are you starting to see that a little bit on what the Jets' angle is on what they want to try to accomplish with him?
Yeah, Dan, I think it's a really fair statement. Tanner Engstrom, who came over from Detroit, he's going to bring a whole bunch of plays with him where he was the passing game coordinator, but I think he's pretty creative, and he recognizes when they made this signing that you're not getting a pocket passer, you're getting a weapon, and you have to best use that weapon. You're going to see a three-headed attack at the running back position, and even for fantasy owners right now, they're trying to figure out, do I draft Breece Hall early? You may not. You may not, because you're going to see Braylon Allen. You're going to see Isaiah Davis. They're going to mix and match in the backfield. They want to keep you guessing at that spot because they each bring a little something different. The reclamation project part of it, no doubt, the Jets paid him to go and win games. They're not paying him to see if he still has something left. They believe he's got something and he needs proper coaching and the proper environment around him. He got 2 years, $40 million, $30 million guaranteed. We know in quarterback terms, that's actually a bargain if you're successful, but your Baker Mayfield example, man, I did so many of his games in Cleveland, and then the little bounce around Carolina. I didn't do a game of his with the Rams, but now I've done a few with Tampa Bay. I've always loved the guy. I love doing production meetings with him. He's direct. He's honest. He's an open book. He doesn't suffer fools. He's smart. He's funny. You could see him in these ads. He's good. Yeah. He's really expressive and good. And I think he connects with teammates. The difference with Fields, he's quiet. He's not rah-rah. He's not fiery. We asked him about it this week, and he said, yeah, if someone talks to me, meaning if someone starts talking trash, he'll answer, and that'll get his juices flowing. But it's not something that is natural to him. So he's got to generate it in a different way.
Your thoughts on Jalen Hurts? You know, you could be at two ends of the spectrum with this guy, because when you look at Hurts, and I find myself bouncing back and forth a little bit myself, to be honest about it, because when I see Lamar Jackson and I see Josh Allen and I see Joe Burrow and Mahomes, the standard four, I don't see that. 2903 in passing yards, 18 touchdowns. But then you look at the resume, which to me, I mean, look, the last 3 years they've been to 2 Super Bowls. Yep. He's played great in both those games. They've won a boatload of football games. They've got a great roster, and I'm not going to penalize them like many people do. But, Ian, you tell me, how do you see him? How do you see Jalen Hurts in your eyes?
I see a serious competitor. I see a cerebral guy. If you sit down and talk with him, there is a seriousness to him, how he takes his job, the chip on his shoulder, which is still there, by the way. It was there through his college ranks because of what happened going from Alabama to Oklahoma, and really forced to transfer to resuscitate his career and make himself a big-time NFL prospect. And then having success, going to Philly, second-round pick. He's going to sit and watch. No, eventually he gets the call, and he shows that he's a big-time NFL caliber quarterback. I know we get into the comparison game, and when we get into that upper tier, that's certain players that qualify. And while the personal resume may not be quite what it is when you're talking about Lamar and Josh Allen and the like, that version of quarterback that we're discussing, the guy wins and he comes up huge in big situations. I had a bunch of those games last year in the playoff run on the radio side. I did the Super Bowl on the world feed. I'm huge in Indonesia, Dan. I don't want to get into the particulars, but I can't walk the streets. They'll riot. So I've seen him in the biggest moments, and I've seen what he's done. I did the Super Bowl a couple of years ago when he played great in that game and would have been the Super Bowl MVP if they get the win. Instead, he's now just got the one to his name, but they have a chance to add more. They're that good. I know there have been some changes, mostly on the defensive end, but I still see the Eagles being a serious contender. They're still the team to beat in the NFC. Detroit is going to get some love, which they should, but until they do it, until they prove it, it's Philadelphia. And the crazy part about this sport and sports in general, working that game with the snow coming down, the Los Angeles Rams are driving down the field, and Matt Stafford has a chance to pull off the upset, coming off everything that had gone on in LA with the wildfires and the emotions. And we tend to forget because it gets lost in the shuffle when you go on and win a championship. There are moments along the way where that rug could be pulled out from under you, and then they fade into the distance. Eagles got it done. Eagles are the champions. To me, Philadelphia is still the favorite in the NFC.
Who would have thought Indonesia on a rickshaw? You got eyeing the Eagles' face on a rickshaw. Holy cow, man. I mean, we really are making it big time here. So, well, let me ask you then, moving into this year here, I mean, if you put pressure on a quarterback, Lamar, Allen, Burrow, I mean, doesn't Hurts, having done what he did, doesn't he now really push one of those three guys? Huss, you had to get it done here. As great as those three are, and I think Allen is such an amazing talent.
Yes.
I think Burrow might be the best from the pocket, the greatest ad-libbers in Kansas City. He's got a resume already. In your eyes, I mean, how do you see that AFC shaking out now? Do you still think Kansas City is in the front driver's seat there, or do you think there's somebody else that could catch them?
You know, I think people romanticize about Buffalo because the kind of story it would be, and they certainly have the team that can go out and go on that run. The reminder in the NFL is that so much of this comes down to your schedule. It comes down to home field advantage in the playoffs. It comes down to circumstance, who's hurt when are you catching certain teams. The NFL is built, unlike any of the major sports, to benefit those that did not play well the year before. So they want you to have a chance to improve. The schedule is made in a manner that if you win consistently, your schedule is more challenging. Every year, you're facing the best of the best. That's just how it works. And by the way, I have no problem with it. There's a reason why, if you look at the stats in the NFL, I think it's 22 of the last 24 years, a team has gone from worst to first. Doesn't mean they win the Super Bowl, but a 5-win team can become an 11 or 12-win team. And it could be a flash in the pan because they benefited from their schedule, or they had that 1 year where they had the right rookie class, or they played certain teams that were banged up the week. It doesn't matter. In the NFL, your record is what you are. And while you can look at the big picture, Washington, as an example, last year certainly benefited from that. A team that came out of nowhere. No one expected it with a rookie quarterback. And now they do have an X on their back. They do have to realize they sneak up on no one anymore. In the AFC, I think Buffalo has been on the precipice. They've obviously had incredible battles with Kansas City, so much fun. Are they ready to finally get over the hump? That's, to me, the burning question in the AFC. Kansas City is still a stalwart, but Buffalo is right there, and now it's just a bounce of the ball or a circumstance in game. Think about their game this year in the playoffs. What the Bills thought was a first down was ruled short. It changed everything. It changed their season. It may have changed football history as far as we know.
Couple last questions here for you, Ian. Aaron Rodgers, I mean, what are we going to expect there? Now, one of my favorite coaches on the planet, because he will put you on blast, and he don't care who it is. And I love Mike Tomlin. I just
agreed.
I mean, you know what? It's crazy. The craziest stat on the planet is that we've had more popes and we've had more presidents in the United States than the Steelers have had head coaches.
That's right.
1969, which is insane to think. They're like the gold standard of how you do things right when it comes to, the Fish Fridays and how they just operate. I
Yep.
love them. Do you think, again, Mike Tomlin's going to win 9 games, whether it's Mason Rudolph or whether it's anybody else? Does Rodgers give them more? The 11th win, the 12th win in a very tough division.
I have them week 1. I have Steelers Jets right out of the gate. It's the Bubby Brister Bowl, Dan. Everybody is going to be talking about it.
Yeah.
The reality is we just don't know. I
Right.
do not know. There were moments last year with Rodgers where he could sling it and give you visions of what he once was, but he has not thrown for 300 yards in a game since 2021.
Wow.
We're talking about a long time now.
That's Green Bay.
Yes, Green Bay. Obviously, he missed the entire season. He's got so much pride. He's got incredible command. He's got tremendous instincts. Physically, he's not what he once was. He was so nimble in the pocket, his ability to sense pressure. I always thought him and Brady were just incredible. Drew Brees was very good too, of stepping up, even that small nuance of a shift to the left or a slide to the right, just to buy themselves an extra half second to release the ball. That's instinctual, but your body also has to comply, and we just don't know. I am with you 100% on Mike Tomlin. I just think the guy knows how to win, knows how to get the best out of the group that he has. I don't know if this is the last go around, if this was the Hail Mary to try to get it done with the aging quarterback who will one day be in the Hall of Fame and is looking for his own form of vindication at this point and wants to end on his terms. It's all lined up. I just don't know if he can do it. We don't know. And that first week will give us a little glimpse, but it's a long haul in the NFL. Russell Wilson looked like the answer last year. Everybody was talking about extension and long-term commitment, and now he's with the New York Giants. So things can change so quickly in the NFL.
Why am I in a belief that I know Jim Harbaugh very well? University of San Diego, they had no scholarships. They win. Goes to Stanford, you have to have a 9.0 to get into the place. They end up crushing USC. They win there. They go to Michigan.
Yep.
History's there. And then even when he was with the 49ers, he was like 42-19-1 when he was there. And you're like, man, this guy just wins. Why do I think that the Chargers are the dark horse in the AFC this year with what they did with Herbert? I mean, they've improved. They still need some weapons on offense, Ian,
Yep.
but I mean, look, I'm a Derwin James fan. I think their defense is good. Am I right in the park there that the Chargers could be a player in this whole conversation and who wins the AFC?
You're right. There's no doubt about it. And I think a lot of people felt the same way going into the playoffs last year, yours truly included. And I worked that playoff game on CBS, and I think like most of America was shocked at what we saw. They just could not muster the type of production that we saw during the regular season in that postseason game. Now, does that change everything? No, it doesn't. They have a dynamic offense. Herbert is gifted, truly gifted, big time arm. I think he's got a really good feel. I think the supporting cast is good, but they just didn't show up against Houston. And that sticks with you when you start forming opinions for the next year. It's just always funny how it works in the NFL. You get to certain places and you now have an expectation that comes with that accomplishment. And I think a lot of people have high expectations for the Los Angeles Chargers, including Harbaugh. And by the way, meeting with him in the production meeting the night before the game, it was among the best meetings we had with him. He was in a great mood. I think he really loved his team. He loved the vibe of his team. I think he was equally surprised by how they performed that day. So this is how it works. This is one game scenarios can change everything. But if you're asking me the general consensus right now on the Chargers, yes, got to put him in the conversation in the AFC.
I've always put this out there on Jim Harbaugh. He's got a mouth on his fist. It just seems the way he handles himself.
Yeah.
I mean, you want to be an MMA fighter when you get out of a meeting with him. Finally, there's another team, and I've got to give Nick Caserio, and I've got to give CJ Stroud, and I've got to give D'Amico Ryan so much love coming out of the Sean Watson mess. I mean, I don't think, Ian, I don't think there's any coincidence that the Patriot talent dipped when Nick Caserio left New England, because look what he's done. Offense and defensive rookies of the year. They've improved that roster. They gave the Chiefs a run for their money in that playoff game. I mean, are they somebody to look at too this coming season?
Dan, you make a great point on two fronts. Houston deserves to be at least in the conversation. If you remember, the regular season was not what they envisioned, and there were dips, and people thought it was a little bit of a slump for CJ, and even by his own accord had mentioned that certain things were not as smooth as they had been in year one. But they came up big when they had to, the home playoff game against the Chargers, and then as you talked about the following week, they made a game of it. They looked like a team that could compete at a higher level. Nick Caserio, we just didn't really know how it all worked in New England because they didn't divulge. Most teams, they share the flow chart, and oftentimes when the main decision maker is up there in the press conference setting, they're giving credit to everybody because that's what they do. And we see that with Philadelphia. Yep. There's always shared credit with the Eagles. And with Bill Belichick, that's just not how he's wired. Doesn't mean he didn't appreciate Nick Caserio. It just means that he went about it in a different way in what he shared with the public. Nick obviously played a big role in helping gather the groceries in New England. And Bill played a huge role in coaching them up and holding them accountable and teaching the right stuff in creating a winner, different iterations. I think with Houston, they made some really good hires, as we know. The coaching hire is a great one. D'Amico Ryan's terrific dude. I think can relate to players, connects with players because he played at a high level, but also will get in their face and will be honest and direct with them. And going back to Aaron Glenn, I think that's where we are. Yeah. It really is. I think you're going to see more of a run on this. That doesn't mean that a Ben Johnson isn't going to emerge or others may not pop up that just have the right way of doing things and the right offense and the right philosophy. But I do see I think you're going to see a bunch of former players getting opportunities and making the most of them. They have to be successful. Dan Campbell being another great example of that. But the more success you see in that light, the more opportunities you'll see for others finally getting them.
Okay, I want to sneak one last one in on you here. You think Belichick does anything at Carolina? Do you think look, I'll tell you this. They're saying this about the old guy. I don't think he's going to have a tough time recruiting because if you look at what he's recruited, when I'm talking about his personal relationship, I mean, if you've got to look at the guy, look at the people that he's brought into the football program already. He's got 5-star guys coming in there. He's got Lawrence Taylor recruiting. He's got Michael Jordan recruiting for Carolina. You think he wins there?
I think he wins. I do. I think it's one of the most intriguing stories going into the college football season because you're taking someone that had coached at such an incredibly high level. He's going to go down as one of the best, if not the best, NFL head coaches of all time. And you're putting him in a completely different area. But the way the college sports is set up now, you can treat it like a pro program in many ways. And I think the guy's going to win. I believe he will win. Now, does that mean national championship? That might be pushing it in 1 year's time. But if you're asking me, are they going to be successful? Will they win games in the ACC? To me, the answer is a resounding yes.
Man, you get Jets You get Jets and Steelers right out of the gate.
Woo.
Oh cow, man. And that's appointment setting television right there. It's always great to catch up with you, my friend.
Me too, Dan.
I
Great to
can't
see you,
thank
bud.
enough, man. I can't thank you enough. Hopefully we could do this again during the upcoming season. Thank you so much for doing this.
All right, brother. Be well.
got it.
We'll see you soon.
bet.
Thanks, Dan.
Iron Eagle from CBS Sports. Absolutely fantastic, man. He's so good, isn't he? Holy cow, that guy was great. And so we'll be getting him. Let's see. I guarantee you he calls the Buffalo and Philadelphia game. So we will get him on that week. I guarantee you he gets that game. Yes, because look, that's going to be a primetime. Is that already a primetime football game? Do we know? Is that a prime game? Man, he was really great. I don't think, Xander, we've had him on before. Okay, he's one of the great broadcasters at CBS. I don't think we've had him on here. I used to get him on my radio show all the time. And how I became friends with many of these CBS guys, as I've told you guys, Jim McKee is the person that got me into sports broadcasting. Most of you have no idea who Jim McKee is. How many people in here know who Jim McKee is? Okay? Does anybody know? Nobody knows who Jim McKee is. Spanning the globe to give you a constant variety of sports. Wide world of sports. Probably, arguably, one of the greatest broadcasters in the history. And he got me into sports broadcasting. He would come to my football games. And when Robustelli was there, and Jim McKee, who lived in Darien, Westport, Connecticut, and Jim McKee would come to my high school football games. And sitting up in the top would be Sister Judith, Jim McKee, Robustelli, and they'd all be watching me play football. And after I would go fishing, I've gone fishing with Jim McKee. And Jim McKee went like this to me. He goes, you should get into broadcasting. And I was still playing sports then. And I was like, my aunt actually said that you should get into sports broadcasting. And so Jim McKee goes, I got a guy for you to meet. I want you to do me a favor and go to this man's office. He sent me to Roone Arledge. So I walk into Roone Arledge's office. Dan, how you doing? Jim McKee said you'd be coming down to see me. I'm like, this guy founded Monday Night Football. And so I'm sitting in the office of Roone Arledge with Jim McKee and me. Seriously, the craziest, Sean McManus has been on this program. How many times? 3? He was the chairman of CBS Sports. Used to come on our program. He's Jim McKee's kid. And I went to school. Well, I didn't go to school. He went to Fairfield Prep. I went to Stanford Catholic. But when we would play one another every Thanksgiving. Do you guys in Philadelphia or wherever you are, do you guys have Thanksgiving high school games? Sanders, does St. Joe's play on Thanksgiving? Because we played every Thanksgiving. And we would play Fairfield Prep every single Thanksgiving at their place or at our place in Stanford. And we played Fairfield Prep. I think I was 2-2 against those guys. They won a bunch of state titles. We won a bunch of state titles. And I grew up with Sean McManus. I think he was the president of CBS Sports for like 30 years. Something like that. And so, McKee got me involved with sports broadcasting. And I would sit down with Jim McKee. And Jim McKee would go like this to me. He'd sit there and go, hey, man, why don't you sit down here and I'll teach you how to do an interview. I'll teach you how to execute a show. And turkey bowls. Cool. Eric, yeah, I played in turkey bowls. Oh, killer. Awesome. Yeah, we played Fairfield Prep. and it was Catholic High versus Prep. I got pictures. Those games, we had like, I don't know, 15,000 people would show up to those games. Those were great. So, like, it's really cool that one of the greatest broadcasters of all time taught me how to execute a show. It was Jim McKee who taught me how to do broadcasting. Now, again, I put my own twist on it and how I am. Okay. But Upper Derby, hey, there's some great ones in Maryland too. Okay. Oh, really? Philadelphia doesn't have Turkey Day games in high school? Yeah, we still have them. It's one of the biggest things in Connecticut is Thanksgiving high school football games. Dude, there's some games up there that have been going on for 160 years. Honestly, there's one in the upper part of the state that's gone on for like ever. Yeah, I mean, yeah, right. Hey, no. That's only you, douchebag. Because Big Sills adds his own twist. Yes, Jim McKee taught Big Sills and got him into broadcasting. One of the absolutely greatest broadcasters of all time. Right here. Boom, boom. How you doing? All right. I got to pay some bills for some of you Stunads. One of our dearest friends. And we are so proud to have Morgan & Morgan part of the program here with over $30 billion recovered. The number one injury firm in the entire world. The number one injury law firm is Morgan & Morgan. Make no mistake about that. With over, like I said, $30 billion recovered in over 25 years. Thousands of attorneys from coast to coast make it happen because the reason they're number one is because why? They win. Simple as that. Okay? You're injured in an Uber. You're injured at work. Anywhere that you think that a company's taking advantage of you. This is why Morgan & Morgan was founded. All you have to do is call Morgan & Morgan or contact them at forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/big sales or pound law 529. And do me a favor. You tell them Big Sales sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica, who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the #1 digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats puts you right in the action with VIP seating, as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio, or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES. Eagles.
Hit the like button. Big Sills here. When are you guys going to stop, and when are you guys going to learn about Jerry Jones? Did you see the new rumors going around? Media people are retarded. When are you going to learn? Micah Parsons and his wormy agent are going, this is now personal. You people don't get Jerry Jones. Billionaires swim with guppies. They're sharks. Do you think billionaires cut deals with people to have fair deals? And they do things fair? How do you think you become a billionaire? You take advantage of people. You take advantage of people's emotions. Billionaires? Look at the president of the United States. Look at the owner of the Dallas Cowboys. Do you see any difference? No. No. They're two assholes. And they know it, because you know why? They have FU money. They don't care. They don't care. I know the Joneses. Jerry eats this shit up. Get this. You see a guy like this, both idiots, they're fucking worth $700 billion. Okay? If that's being an idiot, sign me up. What a bunch of idiots that you think Jerry Jones gives a shit about Micah Parsons' feelings. Hey, get this. Jeffrey Lurie has a ton of dough. Jeffrey Lurie doesn't own the Cowboys. His football team he bought for $154 million. It's worth $13 billion. $13 billion. 3 Super Bowls later. Whether you get them spread out or whether you get them all at once, what does it matter? So let me get this right. Jerry Jones increased his football team's net value tenfold. Okay? Tenfold increase in value since he bought the team, and he's won 3 Super Bowls. I don't know. What are you talking about? Get this. Force goes, this Netflix show coming out, it's not going to do him good. Who cares? Boy, you guys care more about how people see you than how people think of themselves. Jerry Jones doesn't give a shit if you think he's an idiot. Jerry Jones doesn't give a shit if you think he's this. His team's worth $13 billion. However you see him is irrelevant. It's completely irrelevant. Do you know people like Trump and Jerry Jones? They set mousetraps for people to care about their stupid shit. They say things to infuriate people for a reason. You know why? They can. And you bite it like sheep. They are so good at the gullible. They're the champions of gullible people of the world. Sills, he's an asshole. Really? Thank you, doctor. What is that, an epiphany? No shit. And? What's your point? Micah Parsons and his ridiculous agent actually thinks that that guy cares. Donald Trump runs the White House like The Apprentice. Don't you see that? You're so gullible. And you don't get the traps they set. You know what the trap is? You caring. That's how they win. If you didn't give a shit, that stuff goes away. You know who handled Jerry Jones the best? Emmitt Smith. Emmitt didn't say anything during his. By the way, Emmitt Smith didn't have a holdout. He didn't have a holdout. His contract was up. Get this. So he's saying, what's Yale saying? I don't like how he runs things. And Jerry Jones runs his company to a point where his brand goes up every year $300 million in value. What don't you like about that, Yale? How he improves the value of his company? I thought the number one objective, some of you think it's to win Lombardi trophies. He's already done that. Oh, Trump, you don't like how he runs things. Well, every 4 years there's an election. Get off your asses. Instead of bitching about it, do something about it. Go vote him out. Well, it's too late now because he won. Trump's won. It's over. Is he an asshole? Of course he's an asshole. Is he not a nice guy? Of course he's not a nice guy. And you elected him. And you elected people down ballot on him. These guys know what they're doing. They set these little mouse traps. Get this. You see this? It's got nothing to do with it, dude. Don't be mad at me. Be mad at the people who elected him. I don't give a shit because you know why? I care about my rent. I care about my food. I care about my bills being paid. I don't give a shit about that stuff. Dude, I'm a table bread and butter person. Honestly, worrying about shit that I have no effect on, I have no interest in that because I have bigger things to worry about. Jerry Jones runs the Cowboys and the NFL runs the league the same way the White House is being run. So get this. So the White House, here, compared to the NFL. So the NFL is now with those like end racism things in the end zone and, the holier than thou stuff that they have in holy cow, did they just put that out there? You don't really buy that, do you? When you have such a poor record of hiring African-American coaches in this league, and yet you have things in the end zone that says end racism. It's a convoluted message. You don't elevate general managers. How many black GMs are there in the NFL? 2? How many black head coaches are there? 3? The Rooney Rule is code for affirmative action of the league. Let me bring 3 black guys in to interview so I can hire my white buddy. Are you kidding me? You're not really that gullible, are you? Yes, you are. And you believe that shit. You believe the league really thinks they paid Colin Kaepernick. Hey, let me put this in your ear. So the NFL sold the NFL Network to ESPN, right? They now own 10% of ESPN. 10%. You think there's any coincidence this last week, 2 days ago, that the Colin Kaepernick 30 for 30 was canceled by ESPN? They canceled it. The Spike Lee documentary they were going to do? You really think that there's any coincidence that the Colin Kaepernick 30 for 30 was canned? You probably do, because you know why? You're sheep. You're trying to tell me that the NFL did not put heat on them to end that. Remember something. They paid Colin Kaepernick $20 million to go fucking away. Go away. And guess what went away? That documentary went away. No, Jack, I think you're fucking dumb. I do. Jay's, get this. So the NFL cares about like women and their rights and treating women good, right? Then how the fuck are you in business with Jay-Z, who was involved with Diddy the whole time? Oh, yeah, you know what the NFL's comments were? Yeah, we're monitoring it. You're monitoring what? The pictures that were put out on social media with you and him buddying up with all that shit? Oh, okay. Yeah, man. Sheep. Okay? Jerry Jones cares about Micah Parsons like he cares, honestly, about a paternity test. You think he cares? That guy doesn't give a shit. He'll say and do anything he wants. Jerry Jones is now in the stages of his life where he's like your old grandfather that you bring home and you're afraid he's going to say some shit to embarrass you. I'd rather take a paternity test and trade Micah Parsons. Dude, only a guy like that with that kind of money could say shit like that. I mean, holy cow. You can't make that shit up. You can't. Jerry Jones hasn't had a winning team. He don't care. Jerry Jones won at the bank, and he won on the field. He got 3 rings and a $13 billion team that he paid $150 million for. Good night. End of story. Over. End racism. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Hey, whatever. Whatever makes you happy. I compare NFL fans to being a little bit more educated WWE fans. Honestly. The day the NFL gives a shit about players, then why do they want an 18th game? Well, because I'm sure more games will be great for CTE. Yeah. Oh, boy. Hang on here. I don't want to go too crazy here because I don't want to hurt, peel the onion net back because I don't want to give you too much facts here. What's crazy is I learned what controversial was. I had somebody ask me the other day from the Tampa Tribune, Sills, you're one of the most, if not the worst controversial people of all time. Okay? Controversial lives of all time. You know what I said? I guess telling the truth is controversial. That's people want to be lied to. You know why? Because it's easier. It's easier because you know why? It's not confrontational. Simple, man. All right. So let's go here. Let's kind of reset here a little bit. So what did we learn today about the Eagles today? Here's what we learned. By the way, don't forget, right after the program, we have Birds 365. John was out there at practice today. So he'll give you more of an update on what's going on. Okay? So let's go like this and go here and say this here. What did we learn today? I learned one thing's for sure. Andrew Makuba is a schwimp. He's always hurt. He's always hurt. And that's a guy that's battling it out with a guy who can't tackle in Sidney Brown. That's what we've learned today. That's your guys battling for safety if they don't move Coop there. Okay? That's facts. Yale, it's the second time in 2 weeks he's missed and left practice. And he's in the middle of a battle for the safety spot. Okay? You tell me. You're battling with a dude that can't. You're battling with a guy who can't stay healthy. Okay? Thank you, dude. That's what you're doing today. You're battling with a guy who can't stay healthy. That's one thing we learned. Second thing we learned. What's up with AJ? Hey, get this, folks. I guess you can't ask questions in Philadelphia about AJ's health. I guess you can't. I mean, think about this with this trade with this John Metchie guy who got reps today with the first unit. John Metchie's not beating out Jahan Dotson. And they're not trading Jahan Dotson. So why is he getting reps with the first team? What's the answer to that? Why is Kevin Patulo saying that they have to ramp him up? Listen here, man. Here's the guy that's got to pay for my attention so that he can feel good about himself. A down year for us, 10 wins. You ever win 10. Again, why are you ramping up a guy that's not going to play? Okay? Why? Like I said, guys, there'll be many people in here that we really enjoy talking to. There's going to be certain people that have to pay for my attention to come in here and talk to me. Okay? If you want to talk to me, you pay to get my attention. And I appreciate that guy doing that because it supports the channel. Thank you. You are paying for me to respond to you. Okay? There. I've just wasted 2 seconds of my life I wish I got back. And I'll need it when I'm on my deathbed. Did we trade for Lionel Richie? Okay. This is funny, actually. What? Mom? Whatever. Thank you, bro. Queasy, all good. You're one of the people that makes me laugh. Could have a different opinion of me. Okay? Think about it, Yale. Why are you ramping up a guy? Why are you ramping up a guy who's not going to beat AJ or Devontae or Jahan Dotson out? Why are you doing that? If he's not more hurt. Okay? Why are you doing that? Too many undersized players, Sills. Eagles need players over 6 feet. No, I just think what you need to do is take a look at some of the people that you've drafted. Khalid, thank you very much for being part of the program, and I appreciate you supporting us, man. If AJ's going to have these chronic injuries, time to sell high. All I'm saying. Well, let's take a look at that. He's missed the Buccaneer playoff game. He missed 4 games a year ago, and now he's missed all of training camp. But hey, according to the Philly media guys, there's fucking nothing to it. It's a nothing burger. Okay. And they make a trade. Okay. Too many things are now adding up here. Okay? Honestly. There's too many things adding up. Thank you for donating to the channel. Hey, too many. You missed time the last 2 years. And you made a trade. And you're ramping up. This is what we've learned today. What else did we learn? Who's playing corner 2? Anybody? Who's playing corner 2? So what's a lie? Hey, Joe, what's a lie that I just said? McKee can't stay healthy. AJ's been hurt all camp. But hey, I'm sure it's okay with the new coordinator. You made a trade. What's the lie? What are you hearing that is not true? What is not true? Okay, what are you? So wait a minute. You're trying to tell me, okay, that Bennett is now being brought in. Thanks for donating to the channel. So, hey, spitball. It's not about me. What does DeAndre Hopkins have anything to do with A.J. Brown? Trade A.J. Nobody's trading him. I'm making a point about him. Nobody's trading anybody. But it seems that if you're in Philly, you can't have a conversation about A.J. Brown's health. Or get your fucking key fob taken. Sills, the next 2 drafts are looking deep at wide receiver. Moving off of AJ is a possibility. Definitely needs more physicality at the edge. Wish we drafted Sawyer from Ohio State or Green from Marshall. Dude, A.J. Brown, we said it earlier today on the program. You're not winning Super Bowls without A.J. Brown on your team. You can get to us. You've gotten improved. You know the conversation that Xander and I have all the time about Jalen Hurts and Super Bowls? Dude, you got to a Super Bowl with Miles Sanders. You're not getting to a Super Bowl without A.J. Brown. You're just not. I didn't see Philly 500's tweet. Oh, you're saying his tweet. I didn't see it. All right. People are posting all over my X account. Andrew McKee can't stay healthy. He can't. Thanks for donating to the channel. Appreciate it. Very good. He can't. What else did we learn? So let's get to Kevin Patulo. He spoke today. By the way, I like this John Amici guy. I do. I like this John Amici dude. I'll tell you what, you ask anybody about him, there's a ton of people that have tremendous respect for the guy and his journey that he's been on. Just tremendous. Kudos, man. It's a quality guy that they've brought in. Okay? Hey, Sills, have you listened to Rod Wave yet? I don't know who that is. I've never heard of the guy. That doesn't mean he's not good. I have no understanding of who he is. So I couldn't make an assessment. It's like that dickhead Paul Domowitz. I don't know him from a can of paint or a shit on the floor. And that guy calls me all kinds of names, and I have no idea who he is. I've never met the guy or talked to the guy or even been in the same room with the guy that I know of. But he makes some comments like he knows me. Like, I've never seen that guy before. I've never been anywhere. I could have been standing next to him in a food line, and I couldn't tell you if I was next to him. I have no idea what he looks like. I just heard him talking shit here on me, and I don't know who he is. I agree with you, Sills, but the offense has to evolve. Eventually, past one player, younger guys will need extensions, and AJ's not getting younger. Bro, the conversation about moving off of AJ Brown in 2025, that ain't it. Yeah, that's not it. This is for you. Excellent Rod Wave comment. Dude, no, I'm not talking shit on anybody. Honestly, I don't know who he is. Somebody asked me if I listened to him. I've never heard of him. That's not a rip. Okay? Thanks for donating to the channel. Very much so. Thank you, and I appreciate it. So, Kevin Patulo spoke today. And it was all about really John Metchie. And he was asked, we are, what is it? The effort that we're having right now in ramping him up and excelling his reps is something that is a priority. Why would that be a priority to get his reps up right now? Kevin Patulo said that. So I'll ask you guys, why would the offensive coordinator want to get a guy who's going to be a fourth-team wide receiver on this team, get him up to speed before the first week of the season? These are quotes. You tell me. Anybody? Or is this the truth you don't want to hear? Why would you feel you have to get? Wait, see this right here? The third wide receiver on the Philadelphia Eagles with 6 players a year ago had a total of 35 catches. Is he going to be playing over AJ and Devontae? Or what? He's not beating Jahan. I was told by all the media guys that the relationship between Jalen Hurts and Jahan Dotson has been exceptional. Okay? Okay. So, Senor, why in the world? Let me read the exact quotes from Kevin Patulo. The effort right now to get John Metchie's reps up and to get him as much knowledge of the playbook is a priority. Who's he playing over? Who's he playing over? I asked Xander today who he was. I remember him now being at Bama. Okay? So get this. Get this what Senor's trying to tell you guys. A dude that will not play because no wide receiver in the last 4 years has caught over 35 catches in that 3-hole. He's going to be a contributor, and he's going to be a guy who's going to be a factor on the football team when the third wide receiver on this team is not a factor at all for 4 fucking years. But this guy will try to let you believe that they're getting him up to speed just so they can see for what? That he beats out Johnny Wilson or Anais Smith? It doesn't even make sense. Thank you for the donation. I mean, this conversation doesn't make, none of you are answering it because you don't want to. Absolutely. So let me finish. Let's go to John Metchie himself, what he said. So, wait. No, I heard questions every single time that Jalen Hurts was in front of the microphone this camp. He was asked about his relationship with Dotson. And everyone was saying, Dotson's having a great camp. No, wait, you're saying AJ is out for how long? I didn't say AJ's out. I'm trying to get to why this is such a priority to get the receiver up to speed and get him going so that why? When the third wideout on this team is a non-factor. He is a non-factor. Okay? Thank you, Seg. I appreciate it. Thank you. Help me out. Okay. 4 years ago, Quez had 43 catches. You're making my point. So a guy between 35 and 43 catches is a priority in the Eagle offense. On the 4th worst passing offense in pro football, he's a priority. And you're not allowed to ask the questions on the health of AJ. God forbid. And nobody's putting it out there that he's missing game 1. I'm not. I'm not doing that. Hey, for the record, I happen to agree with Xander on this one. Hey, dude, I don't worry about AJ and Jalen. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about continuity and at least being on the same. You're not even getting, dude, joint practices are not real football. That's not real football. You run by the quarterback, you tag his arm, you don't put anybody on the ground. You don't practice the number one essential thing in football. You know what it is? Tackling. I don't know. Running and tackling. That's pro football. And you practice one of those, running. But you don't practice. And how would you like this? So when you're in a joint practice and the quarterback knows he's not getting hit, what benefit is that? What benefit? So this guy says this is a rumor. Well, AJ's missed pretty much all of camp. They made a trade for a guy. They're ramping him up to get him up to speed. And I don't know. He's not beating out AJ or Devontae. So obviously he's going to go into the 3-0. Is there a competition for some reason at wide receiver 3? Why would there be when they don't go there really? Jahan Dotson was a non-factor last year. That's a rumor? Those are facts. Get it right, Ray. That's not a rumor. Those are facts. A rumor? What's the rumor? He missed all of camp? How is that a rumor? There's definitely something going on. AJ is either hurt or he's going to be traded. And he's not being traded. That was the point I was making when I posted that. You're either trading the guy, just like they're doing the guy in the running back in Washington. They didn't play him. He's not hurt. They're trading him. What's his name? Robinson? They didn't play him last night. You know what they said? Because they're moving off of him. Look at Twiz, rest days. The entire camp was rest days. He's lying. The entire training camp, he's resting. How dumb can you get? Hey, Bruce, I'll control the show. Thank you. I'm talking about Kevin Patulo and John Metchie now. I'm sorry if that was what they talked about the most of the time today, Bruce. I'm only going over what was at the presser today. Move on. I have. I'm talking about what Metchie says and Patulo said. Sills, do the Hurricanes beat the Irish August 31st? They smoked them. You know, I posted something on my Twitter page. How'd you like this? My two teams with Notre Dame, we beat them 82-7. And I got asked by some people at ESPN, what did it feel like to be in those rivalries? I was like, I don't remember that much because they were never rivalries. They never won, and they weren't very good. I don't remember Notre Dame ever being good. We beat the piss out of them. 82-7, 58-7, and 24-0. I mean, I don't ever remember Notre Dame being decent. So, I mean, yeah, they go, well, what is it like being – what do you mean? To be in a rivalry, you know, you got to be good. I mean, 82-7 in 2 games during my time at Miami. That's what we beat Notre Dame. Yeah, you know, I mean, for it to be a rivalry, you got to win. Catholics versus convicts. That came after me. I don't. And they had to cheat to win that game. Gary's knee was down. I think that weekend, too, it's Texas, Ohio State. I think Alabama. I think those dudes play Florida State at FSU at Doak Campbell. Notre Dame was in the title game last year. Notre Dame's chances of winning a national championship, very limited. I don't think very high. No, the coach I love, Marcus Freeman. I mean, I love that dude. So this isn't the 80s or 90s. Once again, Twiz, I was asked a fucking question by somebody, and I answered it. Okay. You asked me, not you, but people asked me the question. Okay. So when you ask me the question, I'm going to answer it. ESPN were the people that asked me it. I didn't offer it up. Shit, that stuff's documented. It's documented. It's already in history books. That's our legacy's set. I don't give a shit anymore. You know? All right, let's pay some bills here. Don't forget, Birds 365 right after the program here. Hey, Big Sills here, folks. And I got to tell you about my great friends at Morgan & Morgan. We really love John Morgan. I spoke to him this morning. The number one injury law firm in all of America for a reason. And the number one reason is because they win. Simple as that. If you're hurt with an Uber, if you're hurt at work, no matter what it is, you get an opportunity to get defended by the number one injury law firm on the planet. With attorneys from coast to coast, they're going to defend you and your family to make sure you and your family get the best protection when it comes to companies trying to take advantage of you and your family. Folks, for more information, do me a favor, please go to forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529. That's forthepeople.com/Big Sills or pound law 529, and do me a favor. You tell them Big Sills sent you.
This is Eric. When he got injured in a car accident, he called Morgan & Morgan. He not only gets a lawyer, he gets trial lawyers like Sam and Jessica who are in it to win it. He gets his own investigators with briefcases, leather ones. And if you ever have questions, our customer service folks keep things rolling. Injured? We're your army. Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm.
The following is a presentation of JAKIB Sports.
If you're a small business owner or you work for a company that loves the birds, you need to react fast before we've used up our entire ticket allocation. And here's why. In celebration of JAKIB Media's new partnership with Savvy Seats, JAKIB Media will give you a pair of VIP tickets for any game on the 2025 schedule, home or away. And we'll give your company or your boss a 20-week media sponsorship package across the number one digital network for Eagles coverage, JAKIB Sports. And that includes all of our game day coverage. Cost for your business or company? About $50 a week. Let's recap everything. 20-week sponsorship package on JAKIB Sports, including commercial spots, live reads, and liners. Inclusion in all of our game day coverage, including the soon-to-be-announced Green Zone, and a pair of tickets to the home opener or any game on the 2025 regular season schedule. Remember, that's home or away. If you're in Kansas City and you want to go to the game against the Chiefs, no problem. If you live in Florida and you want to go to the game in Tampa Bay at the end of September, no problem. Text Krause at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And remember, do it quickly before this incredible gift is gone. JAKIB Sports and Savvy Seats put you right in the action with VIP seating as we are proud to announce our partnership for the 2025 season with Savvy Seats. Text Krause right now at 267-261-3428. That's 267-261-3428. And pick your game today. If you own a company and you're not producing a podcast, you're missing out. The public consumes messaging when they're ready. Join the professional podcast network of companies and let JAKIB Media Partners put you in the podcast arena. Come to our professional studio or we'll come to your place of business and professionally produce your company podcast. Call JAKIB Media right now at 267-261-3428. 267-261-3428.
EAGLES, Eagles.
I'll tell you something else I've learned this preseason. Tanner McKee has increased his value as a player incredibly. I mean, for the Eagles to hold him out, and then you look at what you saw with the backup quarterbacks that you had, the kid from Syracuse, I don't know. I'd forgotten that he had gone to Ohio State. Wow. Well, was that hard to watch? Now, again, the old line got their asses handed to them by the Browns, but Tanner McKee, what was he again? Was he a 7th-round draft pick, a 6th-round draft pick? Dude, if you put that guy, and I said this to you, get this, some of you said, no way. If you put that guy on the open market right now, and you ask, what would your asking price be right now for Tanner McKee? What would be that asking price that you think Howie would feel comfortable with? What would be that number? First round pick is ridiculous. Okay, absolutely not. Stay in the real world with me here. What would be your asking price for him if you put him out on the open market? Stay with me here. What round pick would you take? Let's see if you have any common sense about yourselves. I mean, he's got skill. We saw it in the game that he played a year ago. Jeff, I think you're right. I think a 3rd or 4th round pick. Maybe what you would do is a 4th round and a contingency pick that if the guy played, it would turn into a 3. I think he's a 3rd round guy. Okay, I think you could possibly get a 3 for that guy. I mean, he looks like the skill set that you, especially with desperate teams. Remember, you're not going to trade him. Like, how about this? Let's put this out there. How do you think Tanner McKee would play in Minnesota? Got a good run game. They've got exceptional talent on their football team. How do you think they'd play? Think he could win 10 games? I don't know. Boy, he sure looks like he's got, and that coach up there was just won the Coach of the Year award. That looked pretty good up there, Minnesota. I know they got J.J. McCarthy. They traded for a first round. They traded for a first round pick. Or they got a first round pick for J.J. McCarthy, but I don't know, man. I mean, that kid looks like he can play. So do you realize that, think about this. Howie Roseman found a starting defensive end in Mauro Jomo, and you got potentially a quarterback that you have an asset that could probably play in this league. I think there's like 8 teams that he could play for, or how about this? Have a shot at playing for. You think he could start in Cleveland? Do you think? Joe Montana was a 3rd rounder. Russell Wilson was a 3rd rounder. Once again, well, that's a miss. That's a missed pick. Russell Wilson and Joe Montana were 3rd round draft choices. And combined, they won 5 Super Bowls. So, I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know, man. I think that's pretty good. And what they're developing there. And they're starting to think higher of him. When you hold him out and you think he got enough work, I wonder if they're even going to play him in this Jets game. I do. I wonder if they're going to play him and give him playing time in that Jets game. I don't know. There always are going to be teams that are going to be desperate, especially at that position. Look at the Jets. In the last 10 years, name me a Jet quarterback that was worth the shit. Name me a guy that they've had play the quarterback position. That was Aaron Rodgers has been the best quarterback in the last 10 years in New York for the Jets. He's been the best. And that's not really saying much because, again, you look at his numbers, he wasn't that awful last year, but that's the best they've had in a decade. Playing that position. So, tomorrow, I'm not sure who we have on tomorrow. We're working on Westbrook this week to come on the program. And I think Shipley's getting a lot of reps in camp too. I think he's had a pretty decent camp. So, which we're working on Westbrook coming on the program. So, again, we're winding it up. Folks, this is it. I mean, end of the week here. This is the last exhibition game. And then we got that week off, and then it's teed up on September 4th. Great stuff as always. We appreciate all of you guys. Thank you again. Hey, Ian Eagle was awesome on the program, and he texted me. He said, we'll do it again during the football season, so we look forward to talking with him. Thank you guys again. Please hit that like button. 2 to 6 tomorrow, and we'll see you on the flip side.